Kia ora everyone, welcome to another Higurashi Bookclub.
Yay!
Or should I say Higurashi Horse Club? We're the horse girls of When We Cry podcast. I'm here with...
Hello, it's me, Horsecam. I was in the first episode, and now I'm back, finally. Yay!
Yay! Yeah, so I guess, what have you been up to since the first episode? You must have a lot of stories to tell about horses.
I've been just kind of doing stuff. I got back into Final Fantasy 14, so...
Oh,
finished the final expansion, and then just been leveling.
yeah, that's the MMO, right? That's like
Yes, it's the second MMO. It's the fun one with everybody has that copy pasta where you could try it out, free trial. I can't remember the copy pasta off my head. You can now play the first two expansions on it, but I own it, so I got to play every expansion, and I finished the last expansion just recently, and now just doing leveling for my classes.
Yeah. This is the one where I heard you have to grind for 100 hours or something, and then the game gets good. That's what I've heard from it about it.
Yeah, that's kind of what. Because the first part of the game, the Realm Reborn, which is where the game starts you off, is genuinely probably the weakest part of the game.
Yeah,
it'll take 30 hours to get through that. But everything else after that is fantastic, because by the time it gets through there, it's already got your hooks in you, and it'll just start dragging you along, and you'll experience amazing stories. Quite literally, some of the expansions are probably the best stories I've ever experienced. Even though A Realm Reborn is quite literally kind of trash.
Yeah, right. I was just gonna say, I played a lot of Final Fantasy in my time. Probably 50% of the main line, or it was. They're up to 16 now. I still remember when 13 was the most recent one.
Yeah.
If you only count up to 13, I've played about half.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I was watching G4.
Yeah.
And seeing the trailers for 13 and 14, because the original version of 14 also came out around the same time as 13.
Oh, okay, did it?
I think around the same time as 13.2, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
13.2 would have come out.
Oh, 13.2, yeah. I remember one of my friends was real into Final Fantasy 13, and then when I played it, I hated it, and he was like, "Oh, Final Fantasy 13's better." So I have no reason to doubt him. Post-editing horse fry here. I meant to say Final Fantasy 13.2, otherwise this sentence doesn't make any sense. Yeah. My perception of time might be influenced somewhat by the Final Fantasy Dissidia games, because the first one only does up to Final Fantasy 12, and then the second one that came out around 2012, I want to say, did all the way up to Final Fantasy 13. Had mainline entries from there. Dissidia is a crossover fighting game for Final Fantasy, and really good, and one of those games that is tragically lost to time unless Square Enix miraculously decides to port them to PC. That would be amazing.
Was those on phones?
It was on PSP, PlayStation Portable, which is
PSP. Wow.
Yeah. I would give my left arm for a version of that game with a ladder or just online, anything, lobbies. I'd be good with anything.
They brought back that music series a year or two ago. They had all the Final Fantasy music and a lot of the Square Enix music. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they bring back Dissidia at some point. I mean, we've had literally 3 mainline entries since then. 2 of them are very iconic, and 16 is... I've heard mixed things about it.
Problem is they did bring back Dissidia, but they brought it back in a horrible necromancy form. So it was
Yeah, that was the weird I remember they had that weird mobile game where
yeah,
a mega party. That's not Dissidia though, but I remember that.
The music one I think you were saying was Theater Rhythm, Final Fantasy, and then there's another one that's it's and these are in the Final Fantasy Dissidia world, which is it's got its own story of why all the characters are being from different series are drawn into this world. It's kind of interesting. I never played the game for the story really. I think the story is probably the weakest part of Final Fantasy Dissidia. It's the gameplay, and I think so the version I was talking about, that they did bring back Final Fantasy Dissidia as Final Fantasy Dissidia NT, but it's it's an arcade game, and it's it not only is an arcade game, it's it's forced multiplayer. Like, you have to play 2v2. There isn't like a 1v1 mode, or maybe there is, but like they push the 2v2 really hard, which like makes it really hard to like get reliably play with other people. So yeah, I'm not hopeful, but it would be amazing if we could get that game. If there's any Square Enix executives listening, like, please just port Final Fantasy Dissidia or Final Fantasy Dissidia 012 to Steam.
I will say, Inti does seem to have a really cool lineup.
It does,
like,
yeah.
It should have been a lot better. Because, like, I'm looking at it, it's like, oh, they have, like, 14 characters, a lot of the main villains from each game. Even though I'm weird that they have all the protagonists from the first 14 games, except for they don't have the Warrior of Light to be the main character for 14. It's just one of the other main characters.
Yeah. You done anything else?
I haven't really done that much. I did play through the Yakuza series, but that was a completely different thing. Like, I did that before I think I did that episode.
Well, I've done some interesting stuff. I fixed my toilet.
Well, what was wrong with your toilet?
So, it had what's called a phantom flush, which is where like the valve at the bottom of your cistern like leaks into the bowl, and so like you get two things from that. One of them is you get like stains on the bowl because there's always water running over like particular areas, but the other one is like it'll just be at nighttime and you'll hear the cistern refilling randomly at night.
Oh yeah, I know that. We're just constantly running.
Yeah. And so like there's two possible like well, if you hear it refilling, it's to do with your flush valve. So yeah. So yeah, it's it was kind of nerve-wracking because I had to kind of like force it to twist it out, but like it was just that I wasn't applying enough force. But you're always like worried about these things. They're just these plastic like valves, and like you don't want to break them. But yeah, but other than that, you just like twist it out, replace the seal on the bottom, and then chuck it back in. Hey, Kirby.
Hello. I hope I'm not too late.
Okay,
I started recording.
Yeah, sweet.
Hello.
Okay. We'll just sync you up by just going. Just reply to me, and that's how we'll sync it up. Like, hello, Kirby. How are you?
I'm doing well. I just got here. Hi.
Hello.
I've been doing well. I'm a little sick, but I'm okay.
I'm sick of these Higurashi characters. I don't know. That's a great. Yeah, we were talking about Final Fantasy 14 and toilets.
Fuck yeah. Final Fantasy 14. I gotta say, this guy, onto the topic of Final Fantasy 14, this guy right here, he helped me beat the same boss 3 times within less than 30 seconds, I think, altogether.
Yeah, one I just got really, but yeah.
I needed someone to help me on a dungeon, or not even a dungeon, just a boss fight, because I needed to beat the boss fight, but the boss fight is bad and no one queues up for it anyways, so it was just like...
Yeah, so we had to do it, like, unsynced.
It's just over-leveled. Yeah, unsynced. Because no one does sync.
So I just did it with my, like, in-game character, and just slapped around the boss.
If we're just doing life updates, though, I guess... sorry to just jump in here. If we're doing life updates, though, I've been taking it easy. I've played a little bit of Demon Souls. It's an interesting game.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting game, but that would take too long to get into. It's just funny after playing like every other more traditional game in the series. I'm like, oh yeah, I can play the first proper one now. The one that put the term souls on the map, I guess. That one.
That was the one where it came out and like was kind of like it didn't like sell very well to begin with, but like over time it just spread by word of mouth and like got like reasonably popular. And that's why Dark Souls was made. I'm I'm someone who like has like encyclopedic knowledge of Dark Souls 1 specifically,
Yeah.
and then like every other Dark Souls game, I'm like I'm a complete layperson.
Fuck yeah.
I have like 3 hours experience on Dark Souls 3, and that's my experience with Dark Souls.
Did you get past Iodex Gunda?
Who?
The first guy. The very first guy. He turns
Yes.
into a... Good.
Yes.
Well, if you can get past him, then you can
Yeah.
get past the rest of the game.
That's like that was like I mean by the time I played that, like I thought I was pretty good at like Souls games, so I was like I was okay, but I was like, man, this is a brutal like first boss. You compare to like the Asylum
Yeah, the
Demon.
Asylum Demon or any... No, I guess the Asylum Demon's really the only main... Sorry, don't want to get too off of it, but yeah, I think especially the Dark Souls 3, the guy Udex Gungnir, he's definitely like, hey, you can beat this guy, you can probably beat the rest of the game. So you just gotta know how to beat him, and then if you can figure that out, everything else will come to you.
Yeah.
It's like a little skill, just like a little temporary like stop here for skill check.
Skill check. If you're not good enough, go back to Danganronpa.
Back to the
you little
beginning.
babies.
Go back to Danganronpa.
You little babies,
Go back to
you
your
can't beat the
visual
first boss of our
novels.
video game. Go back to Mario. Go play your Tears of the Kingdom, because it's all you're gonna be crying when you get loose to this guy.
You know, that new Mario game just came out,
Yeah, I kind of forgot about it.
like, today, I think. I also kind of forgot about it, but I heard it's pretty
Yes,
good.
Elephant Mario. It's the first Mario game without Charles Martinet in it.
Yeah, it's the first bad Mario game ever.
Yeah. I remember. I wanted to make this last sentence. I posted an there's this like site that's like the Onion of video games. And they posted a really great article just about like
you have
who
it
will
on
play
hand?
Mario next.
Oh yeah, that one. Who will play Mario next? It's just like a bunch of...
Yeah, 20 real Italians that should play Mario. It's great.
20
It's
real
an amazing
Italians
article.
that should play Mario.
It'll just be like, it says, Michael Improloni, Danny DeVito, Michael Shannon,
Danny
Chris
DeVito.
Pratt, one of those Skarsgård guys, John Leguizamo, Leonardo DiCaprio, Mark Wahlberg, Benicio del Toro, John Cena, Captain Lou Albano.
Does anyone know if this guy is still alive? Do the Mario. Can't say
Al
that.
Pacino, a girl, many girls are Italians,
Girl.
switching Mario's gender
Chat
to be very
GPT
different
is such a... I'm just looking at this list right now that you posted. This is... Hard drive writer Mark Kropik. Hold on, let me go back
They
to
just
the
stop
top.
halfway through and go like a
Does it
girl.
say who wrote
Many
it?
girls are Italian.
Oh, it
Okay,
doesn't.
you
It
got me
just says
there.
by hard drive staff.
Yeah.
Switching Mario's gender could be an interesting way to breathe new life into a dying franchise that everyone already hates anyway.
Yeah, for real.
And
Help
like,
me last good Mario game.
and then further
That's
down, they're just
right,
like,
you
oh,
can't.
Charles Martinet should play Mario.
There's never been a
Great
good
idea.
super fucking Mario game ever. Charles yeah, well... I think on that topic, he's like, what, the ambassador of Mario now? He's something like that. What a guy.
If he ever comes near you, would you go see the Vansner Mario and ask him to sign your Mario passport?
My Mario passport, my Mario themed passport, yeah.
Yeah, ask him to be like, hey, how can I be a citizen of the Mario Kingdom?
Citizen of, you have to...
Because he's like the ambassador
to-
of it, right? So like,
Yeah, no, that's
should
true.
be
He's
able
the
to tell you how to
ambassador
get
of the... He's
citizenship.
the He's the ambassador of if he's the one last thing, and then we can get back to the episode. If he's the ambassador of Mario, does he like? Can you ask him for things then? Could you ask him for?
Like, could I ask for a Mario plush? The Goomba Club.
Can you make sure that they put better Toads in the next game?
No, I don't have a Mario plush.
Yeah,
I
sure.
do have a mushroom plush somewhere.
I got Mario on my desk. I got the original first ever amiibo Mario on my desk. He's just sitting
One
there
that people
watching me.
Rush the store to get.
Amiibo. Yeah.
Which one was the first era? Mario?
The Smash Brothers one, the Smash Wii U one. I think was just the first ever amiibo in general, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
Because the first ever series of amiibo was like Smash Brothers, and then I think the first ever one they made was Mario.
I've got a whole collection of amiibo because like I used to get I got into like training amiibo on Smash. I always thought that was very funny.
Oh yeah, fun.
Yeah, so I think I've got the first Luigi because it's like him doing a plank.
Yeah, it's the one that's held up in the middle because he's sideways.
Yeah, the one where it looks like it has a penis, right? So what it looks like, because he's like doing a weird plank at a 45-degree angle.
I really don't want to keep derailing.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry, but did this ever on the topic of amiibo? On the topic of fucking amiibo, like for some reason, the stand that holds up the Link amiibo is like bright piss yellow. Like let me find a picture of the Link amiibo. It's like bright yellow, and it's really jarring when they have used clear white plastic every other time they've needed to like. Oh come on, save as WebP. Well, you can imagine what it looks like in your head. There you go. Yeah, it's bright yellow.
What a weird place for it too. It looks like
it's like right.
It's only holding up like his tunic.
It's going through like the middle of the knee. It's such a. It's also It also has a really bad face. It has a particular.
Yeah.
A lot of the first ones have. A lot of the amiibos, a lot of the more detailed early amiibos have really bad faces. They don't really have great faces in general, but like a lot of the really early detailed ones, Link,
oh god,
Marth, especially Marth.
Oh my god,
those couple, they're bad. They're really bad. I have Marth on my desk.
I think I've got a Marth as well. I don't remember looking that bad, but
yeah,
they're all
I think it was more of an. From what I see, it's like a North America thing.
Right.
Like, it was really bad in North America.
I think they fixed it at some point.
Like in other
they
countries.
Yeah,
they fixed it. I'm sorry.
There's some really nice looking ones.
Thing. That could be it. Yeah.
I've got the Breath of the Wild Link. Breath of the Wild Link with the bow and Breath of the Wild Link on the horse.
It's alright.
Both of those are real cool.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to. I kind of wanted those. Those seem very.
I'm sorry. I saw that and
It's a Mario amiibo, but he's
It's the Mario movie.
He's
Not
Mario.
That one, but it's that movie.
Hey, custom amiibo are a whole thing too, eh? Like
I have a
custom
custom amiibo on my desk. I got a custom Toon Link amiibo on my desk. I will take a picture of it actually, and if it gets, and I will post it in the fucking channel so that we can put it on the call. Let me get it. Yeah, you know what? I literally just saw that one, and I was thinking of posting it. The just I guess whoever's editing this just put these all up on screen. It's like it's Luigi, but he's all fucked up and probably chewed on by a dog.
Yes.
Hopefully a dog.
Yes, it's his dog. It's someone on X.
Like you're like someone's r/mildly annoying. My child bit through the Luigi amiibo. Pretty angry.
If I had a child that did that, I'd be worried about like taking them to the hospital.
I will say,
Oh, that's cool.
There's my custom Link amiibo. It's
that's
blue
really
and
nice.
it's blue and pink and red. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can put that on the screen for everyone to see.
All right, we're about like 22 minutes in. We should probably now talk
That's
about
22.
the
That's
Higurashi.
22 minutes of That's 22 minutes of the best part of the podcast.
Talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
but Higurashi.
So we'll jump in. So this is day 5. So yeah, last time obviously Keiichi and Rena had dug out the Colonel Randy figure, and then
You gotta be correct. It's Colonel Sanders.
so the this is interesting because in the anniversary episode I discovered that he's called Kenta-kun in some other form.
Yeah, he's called like Kenta-kun. I don't remember what the difference is, but he is.
Is it in the? It might be from the anime, like the
Yeah.
Colonel Sanders being called that, or
Yeah,
the doll?
it's the Colonel Sanders doll, which like Colonel Randy is like an obvious like McDonald's type of thing.
Yeah, McDonald's.
But I have no idea what Kenta-kun means.
No.
I just remembered this.
I mean, it's probably just like Kentucky-kun. It's like Kenta.
It's a Japanese
It's
nickname
like a play on.
for Colonel Sanders. From what I got from what
It's
like it's like a weird amalgamation of Kentucky, Coon, Kent.
Yeah, Kentucky-kun. Yeah, that's
Right.
that's what I thought. Kentucky-kun.
Huh. So like, do we know which version?
Ken?
Mm-hmm.
I've only ever known the Colonel Randy translation, but is there like
I don't know.
I actually don't know which. I actually don't know what the translation differences are between the two and where it is used where. It's not something I've really thought about, like, before this moment.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll probably talk about more like translation differences when we get to like next when we get to Watanagashi, not the event, but the chapter. The next chapter when that's like when you get to like the ritual storehouse, because that's people call it. I know some people don't call it by the Japanese name, which I can't remember the name of it.
The ritual storehouse has a Japanese name.
Because some translation.
I'm trying to remember what the name. The ritual. Ritual storehouse. Clearly, you don't own a Kentic.
That's like a great image.
Yeah.
Alright, so where were we? They had just dug up the,
Yeah, sorry. So, alright, we will now actually start the, because I never
Like,
even
some, like,
started.
just replay the intro and be like, this is the real start. All
This
of
is the
it
real,
was fake.
yeah. Kia ora, everyone. Welcome to, no, okay. Alright, so, the chapter opens with, the group just bantering in the classroom about, Rena's place. It's, stuffed with cute things, or kai things. The backyard. Apparently, the house is fine, but the backyard is just like full of like all the rubbish that Rena's like pulled back from the dump.
Yeah, it's like-
and
just puts it all in her backyard.
It's also sometimes in a front yard. Like, it's weird that her dad just lets her do that.
Well, he's got other priorities. He's Actually, I don't think that happens here. He's probably fine. Question mark.
by the way, this is full Higurashi spoilers. By the way, I think that's how we've always done it. Hey, post editing horse fry here again. Just wanted to let you know I don't think we do a spoiler section in this video, but we do talk unguarded a little bit about some minor plot elements of Umineko and Ciconia. So if you are sensitive to those, sorry, but maybe give this video a miss. But it's not too severe, so I wouldn't expect any major spoilers. And I think what is generally accepted is like normally what's her name, Rena gets killed, right? Like there's like a whole thing where like she gets like chopped up and I want to say like she gets killed. I'm having a hard time remembering how because we're not quite there yet. But she
just gets stabbed, then chopped up and buried. But that doesn't happen in this chapter.
Yeah.
Because Rena doesn't... I don't know what causes Rena just to not die by Mion, because she can't die by Rena's hands or the Sonozaki hands in this chapter. Clearly she doesn't, because Sonozaki, she gets killed by the Sonozakis that starts to talk.
That's right, yeah.
She gets killed by Rena. I don't think she gets killed by Rena.
Like, normally, isn't she, yeah, I thought normally that she and Tepe were both killed, but I think that's wrong. I think actually normally they're both alive, and that's what, like, prevents Higurashi from kicking
Yeah,
off.
she's just... Yeah, because she only comes by if Tepe is like, alive. That's right.
Yeah.
My bitch stepmom is alive, and
Yeah.
so she's not here to tell me to not put the Kentakun doll in the front yard.
Yeah, her mom's in a different state with her half sister, with a main protagonist, Higurashi Mei. Right? That character's the main protagonist, right?
I don't know. I'm not gonna play Mei. I'm not gonna talk about Mei. I've already every time I look over there, it's like it's a little worse every time.
I've never played any of the games outside of the main story, so I don't know.
We don't have to get into that, but I've like
we've
seen
not covered the
couple of
Mei
them.
crossovers with Umineko, right? At all on the show? On
No.
the podcast?
No. Okay,
Probably.
well, when they were first coming out, they weren't translated into English, and now they are in English by fans. I don't know what they say. Probably nothing good.
Alright.
I don't know. I can't imagine that being good, but sorry to keep interrupting.
That's right.
The recap to go on non sequiturs. You can continue.
That's okay. I think that's par for the course for the series.
Yeah, that's par for the course.
Sometimes I interrupt myself to to go on non sequiturs. So they talk about the Watanagashi festival. Keiichi gets some culture shock. The festival is basically one where they revere their deity by, Des has put, polluting the river with the fillings of old futons and cloaks. Which, yeah, I mean, is probably not good for the river to, fill it up. It probably, causes a blockage somewhere downstream. Probably gets sucked into a water treatment plant screen and they have to clean it
that
off.
bad. I mean, well, yeah,
but,
the real killer. Microplastics.
Oh, I mean, it's the 80s, so, they didn't care at that point.
It's cotton.
It was the 80s, so they didn't care.
Oh, they didn't care, yeah, true. But it's cotton, so there's probably no
Literally, they
microplastic.
can make a fucking something out of radioactive material. Literally, Kintaku could just pure uranium.
No, Kentakun is entirely... That dump that they go to is probably, full of mercury.
What if Kintakun was the cause of Hinamizawa syndrome? Come on. Maybe they just didn't have. Maybe his Kentucky Fried Kentucky Fried Chicken didn't fucking save them. They took him from his habitat, so he couldn't make the Kentucky Fried Chicken, and so he
radiates the
so
land with
they're
poison.
all mad because they couldn't get KFC. That's it.
He irradiates the land with poison and evil for not being able to continue his famous chicken line. Yeah, that checks out.
See, I had a thought the other day. I remembered the part where they said that where it said that the ancient Hinamizawa would sacrifice people and then float their guts down the river and stuff. And I always thought yeah, they did that because of Hinamizawa syndrome. But then the other day I had a thought what if they started by doing that? Because if they started doing that without any extenuating factors, then that would make a lot of sense because that's a great way to get human parasites into the entire into the entire village. If one person had
Fuck,
if one person had a few
you are so
had a few
right,
parasites
actually. Yeah, the parasites would get into the water then. Yeah, you're kind of right. That's
this
actually
is not
really
important
interesting.
now with the parasites. I always thought the parasite, the whole Hinamizawa syndrome was just caused from water because it's the least likely to get easiest to get infected, but without having the ability to spread super far to where, like, 'cause if someone drinks it, they'll have it, they'll get the parasites. But if, like, say, because that's why, like, people who live in, like, Okinawa don't have it, because they don't have the same water supply as, like, Inamizawa. So if you visit Inamizawa and you drink the water, you would get it, but it doesn't have the same spread. That's what I think, but that's not important right now because that's
very interesting. Honestly, it's not a way I've ever thought about it, but it's very interesting. It's probably true. I feel like
the only thing would be like a river. Would that be different to a like if there was a lake that they like washed the guts in? Like that would be like
I mean, a river if it's close enough by can be contaminated. After a certain point, you start to like. It can definitely go downstream, but it starts to sort of dilute after a certain point. So the explanation of it being in the drinking water from the river and just being in a parasite that by the time it really got outside of anywhere else would have already died, but while it is able to be in the water in the town is in the summer when it's warm and a lot of things in the water. No, it would make a lot of sense that that's how it spreads.
Oh, they do have a river. Okay.
Yeah, they do it in the river.
I was like, I know I have a swamp, but I didn't know it was a river. I forgot they had a white river as well.
Yeah, well, that's what they wash the cotton down in the Watanagashi. So it's definitely a river.
Oh yeah, right. I literally have as my computer background.
My new headcanon is that the Erie clinic is researching chlorinating water. And, like that's their vaccine. So they're just going to chlorinate the water and kill the parasite in the water supply.
They're just going to chlorinate the water.
I mean, yeah, because the parasite's only deadly to like children. It's only a problem with like younger, like preteens to younger adults.
Is it?
Maybe stressed humans. Because it's no way that I mean, it can elevate. It seems to be feeding off of like emotions and stress levels, which like. Since more adults have ways of handling their stress, but we're like a lot of these like younger people, like from like I think like from the age of like 12 to like to their 20s, have a lot harder time like going, oh, let's handle this.
I think it affects the dam workers, right? So like it's definitely not only kids. I think that's just the main character effect.
The main cast that's true. It affects but it's just more
Yeah. Anyway, see, I told you I interrupt myself. I've gotten like one sentence into the summary. So yeah, like that.
Yeah, okay. Let's just do a mega thing.
All good.
Into it without going on a tangent. That's something that we don't have to worry about for way later on.
So Keiichi initially doesn't want to go to the festival. He wants to stay inside and I don't know, watch TV or something. But Mion says, like, no, you gotta come. It's a mandatory club activity. We're doing the 4-demon firefight, which now is going to be the 5-demon firefight because there are 5 demons in the club. And you can tell me if this joke Des put in makes sense because I haven't read Danganronpa. So the special club event is a test of sorts where the club members are meant to show the progress they've made through their, to quote Mion, daily trials and tribulations. Which damn, imagine reading Danganronpa on the daily.
Daily trials.
Is daily trials and tribulations a thing you do when you read Danganronpa?
Des wrote that joke. He put that in there. Oh, that's really. Maybe I shouldn't laugh so hard at that. It's so dumb. I don't know.
I didn't know Des has read Danganronpa. No.
I should just read Danganronpa, I guess. But what is that? Daily Trials and Tribulations.
Danganronpa. Yeah, I think that's what he meant. I'm not sure. I just heard Danganronpa and I'm like,
okay. So yeah, apparently last time the 4-demon firefight got the mayor really angry, which isn't hard to imagine, to be honest. Like if
Oh,
if
he's
I
a
was in
bitch
this club
anyways.
and someone was like, "Hey, let's go to a public
Yeah.
event and do a club activities," I'd be like, "All right, but like we're gonna lay down some ground rules here. Like I don't want to go to jail."
Yeah, we want to disturb people. That's typically the idea.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if any of you watched Jet Lag the game, like
Yeah.
that. Jet Lag the
No.
game was like this group
I have
of people.
not.
They go fly out to a place and they play like tag across Europe or something like that. But like their main role on their channel, like when they do this kind of stuff, is like we want to make sure everything we do, we bother the least amount of people at once. The only people we bother is ourselves. Because like they did a season in Japan where like we had to be extremely
I know what
they
you
have to
mean
be
by
extremely
that, so
careful
yeah.
because if they can't really do a lot of
The
a lot
not-
of extreme shit, like in fact they have to be really
Yeah.
careful with running because like it's very rude.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta be socially acceptable. You gotta not be gotta not bother people. Or, on the alternative that you do, you gotta be able to get away really quickly. Well, yeah, the 4-person demon fight versus 5-person demon fight.
So yeah, Kimiyoshi got really pissed off last year, and Rena is like, "Okay, but it was funny though." Does she say that?
It was funny.
I mean, she obviously doesn't say that. But...
It was funny.
Even though,
though.
yes, someone got murdered.
Okay, but
that
it was
year,
funny
but,
though.
Like it was still funny. Unrelated.
Well, that's just that was unrelated to the funny, you know.
Oh yeah, she does say "ahaha," but it's lots of fun. Yeah.
Even though it was somewhat irrelated to somebody in the room.
So then, yeah, having
Yeah, the mayor has no right to get that fucking.
well, I don't know what they did. I imagine they could have done something real bad last time.
They broke Heaven stalls. They got into a drunken bar fight with like 20 people.
Yeah.
Remember when? Sorry, sorry.
No,
you continue.
right.
I don't want to keep derailing it. I was just, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, after they basically tell Keiichi he's going to Watanagashi, they carry on and they play president as part of their club activities. And so Des has left a note here, which I was gonna bring up if he didn't. What do you guys call this game, President? Because in New Zealand there are like 2 names that come to mind. There's Scum, and there's one that's apparently translates into Portuguese as well, which is Arsehole. I don't know if that's like. You guys played
Asshole. What is
President's where you play cards.
what specifically is
I can
president?
describe it because I vaguely remember the rules. The rules is like everyone has a turn. Everyone starts as a turn. You have to place down one. You either can place one or between 1 and 4 cards. If you place more than 1 card, it has to be a set. And then whoever, if you can, I can't remember if it's getting rid of all of your cards or just whoever just wins that hand. Like whoever can play the highest without someone beating them wins the hand, right?
Yeah.
So, or you have to get rid of your hand.
Yeah, so you're trying to get rid of all the cards in your hand. So like, you'll usually start low because you want to like get rid of your low cards because you have a higher chance of being able to play your higher cards as the round gets back around to you. Like one of the things Des notes is that at one point someone plays an ace and then plays a 3, a 4, and a 5 in succession, and they say they're out, which like is unusual, but. If we imagine they're actually talking about playing, because like the thing is like you can't play a 3, a 4, or a 5 in one turn, right? You have to play the 3, and then it has to come around back to you, and you have to play the 4. So like, but one way that could definitely work is if you play the ace to win the hand, and then you play like 4 3s, 4 4s, and 4 5s or something. That could easily win you because like not often other people have like 4 of a kind, and if they have like 4 2s, they're not going to play them because they want to use those on like individual. So like that's definitely a path to victory.
Right.
Yeah, like the other like and how it works. Like another thing at the end of a round, whoever gets rid of their hands
Illegitimate
first is now
win.
the tycoon or president in this case. Whoever gets out second is, I think, just a... I don't know the title, but I will say what I know it as is rich. And then the third one is known as beggar. No, not beggar.
Citizen?
Dirt. Or poor. Poor. Just poor.
Yeah.
Poor, and the fourth person, the last person out is a
Dirt.
beggar.
Yeah.
And the next round you now play, but now the tycoon / president will have switched 2 of their cards out for the beggar, and the rich will switch with 1 card with the poor, and you'll play like that depending. And the score is based how you finish that second round, because each round you finish you get points based on where you finish. So ideally you want to finish more as a tycoon than you want to finish more than the beggar. After like a couple of rounds, whoever has the most points wins. And according to the Wikipedia page, it's called Daifuga.
All right, that makes sense.
Oh.
Which translates into Grand Millionaire, Very Rich Man.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Portuguese
I know it as Tycoon. They call it President.
Portuguese word calling it asshole sounds apt.
I mean, it's like an allegory for capitalism.
Yeah, we definitely... In New Zealand, it's called asshole. Yeah. In New Zealand, it's called asshole. But, like, asshole is the bottom. Like, you I think we still call it president. So it's like president, vice president. You have citizens in the middle if you have, like, more than 4 people. You just have, like, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, and then everyone in between is a citizen. And then you have, like, asshole and vice asshole.
Vice asshole. That's a title I want.
We used to play it because we used to play it at lunchtime, right? The idea was whoever wins at the end is, like, the winner. And so it was more about, like, you wanted to win because then you got better cards. So you were, like, positioning yourself to be the winner at the end. But, like, we didn't keep score or anything. But that was probably just out of laziness. One of the cool things about this game is, like, if you're asshole, you actually get in some ways a better chance to win because you get 3s and 4s, and then you probably already have 3s and 4s, so you usually end up with... And also the asshole starts. The asshole's the one who like plays the first card. So you could easily start the game by playing 3 3s and no one like contests it. And so you play two 4s and like, you know, and then maybe it goes from there, but like it doesn't go very far. And then you get rid of a lot of cards right at the start, which can actually position you to win. Yeah, I have actually once, as president, gave back. I had like 4 3s and like hardly anything in between. So I ended up giving away an ace one time because I just had an amazing hand. Like I had like 4 3s and I had like 4 2s, and I had like, so I gave away like an ace and a 10 or something because like I wanted to keep all of my low multis so I could play them all at once.
Oh man, yeah, totally. Sounds fun. I can't personally say I've played the game before, but sounds fun.
I mean, there are also other rules, like you can play with jokers. There's like a 3 of spades rule that like I think there's a card, like 3 of spades or 3 of clubs rule that like allows you to either cause like what is known as a revolution, I guess.
Revolution, huh?
Well, these rules are for Persona 5.
They put the game in Persona 5?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, unfortunately they did. It was in Royal. It was like an extra mode thing.
Oh, that's why I've never
Actually, it was really fun. I played a lot of time in it.
Well, something about the game that they play, which I find really interesting, is that they don't play the rich get richer, which makes me wonder like why you'd play this game at all. Like, I feel like the rich get richer part of the game, where the asshole gives the president. I keep saying asshole. I don't know what they call it in the game. Oh, they don't call it anything because you just win or you lose. There's no president really.
On the Wikipedia, it just oh, they don't call it anything, huh?
Oh, okay, yeah. Because in Persona 5, you had the 8 stop. If you play 4 8s, you'll just no, it ends the card chain. So basically, you get to restart at 1 as if the game just started again. Revolution is it just if you play 4 of the same card, it reverses all other cards. It reverses the strength of cards.
Huh.
Okay.
Interesting.
And then jokers are
Little
Jokers are just used to add in
Right.
Like, so if you have
Yeah.
a 1, so if you have 2 3s, you can just use a joker to put down 3 3s.
So they play the version, and I'm not sure why they play the version where they don't give. I feel like the brutal version of like President, where like one person keeps losing, is exactly the kind of thing this club would normally like be all about. But I guess they just didn't want to have to focus on that aspect of it.
Maybe they tried it one. Maybe they tried it one time, and it was
And one
like,
person
well,
just kept losing.
that was why they said they couldn't do it again, because they did it with they did it with the rich keep getting richer rule last year, and that's why Kimiyoshi's devolved into a war.
Yeah.
That's why Kimiyoshi's pissed off at them. He's like, "You play fucking President, don't play it with the damn rich get richer rules, or you're banned."
They're just playing like essentially just like I don't know, like there's probably a name for it if you just don't play it like with the rich get richer rules. Is that it's just first to catch out just wins the hand.
I just feel like if you're at that point, you might as well just play a different game, because there's not really much to it. Otherwise, it's basically last card.
Just play war at that point, or slapjack.
Well, I guess the Higurashi cast aren't competitive enough to play the cutthroat game of President.
What they do decide is in place of giving up cards, they do have penalties every time a game ends for the loser. And the way they do this is everyone writes down a penalty and like puts it in the hat. And then, you know, when you lose, you have to draw a penalty out of the hat. And Rika says, oh yeah, and don't just write no penalty so that you have like an out if you lose. And Mion like stops writing halfway through, and then like Rena looks over and goes like, "Hey, you dog-eared your penalty slip." So clearly, and Des makes a good point here. He says like, so you know, do we all agree that Rika probably has experienced this before, when like Mion has done this to just get out of any penalties?
Oh, absolutely. She's just like, make sure you don't do this. Look specifically at her. Eyes flash red for just a second. Don't do it.
Rika should know how to win fucking President at this rate. She's experienced President.
Well, you can't win if your opponents just cheat.
Then she should cheat.
Rika would never cheat in a card in the card
literally
game.
cheats at the. She
does literally cheat.
She cheats all the time. Yeah, she literally cheats all the time. It's like the whole point. But Rika would never.
Well, she's
cheat.
also a bad cheater. She's just like she cheats but doesn't win.
Yeah,
she like has like all the mega cheats in like the Call of Duty game, but it's like she just constantly just gets shot in the head every time.
Mark Wahlberg tweet where it says, "If I was in Hinamizawa, I would have stopped it." Pretty much. Rika.
So Mion loses the first round, and her penalty is to pat the principal on the head, which is apparently a real big deal because this guy is like Jean-Claude Van Damme or something, and he can like. Des has written, "This man's martial prowess is only matched by his receding hairline," which, you know, that covers it pretty well.
I don't think the principal does not have a sprite, right?
No.
Any of the Higurashi?
He is apparently bald. I think he is. I'm trying to remember what he looks like. I
don't
think
even
he
know
like
if
is.
it's anime, 'cause I think they
He's
cut this from
he's
anime.
he's in the manga, and I see images of him from the Dean anime when I look him up. So I think he was in it very briefly.
I'm pretty sure this is cut because like they only really play like 3 games. Because I know they play the Clue later on.
No,
anime.
they cut it because they knew normal people wouldn't be able to sit there after playing card games for 4 hours in a row and be like, what is happening anymore? They knew the average person couldn't handle it, but your Higurashi fans are not your average person.
If you're ever curious about the Dean anime, We did do a series where we talked about the teen anime for like the first season, I think, on our podcast.
Yeah.
Your RPG long exist.
Yeah, go click on it. Go watch it. It probably still holds
Go
up.
listen to it now. I don't know, I haven't listened to it.
What the hell? Supposed to have listened to it.
It was me, Des, and Mushroom. Yeah, it was just listening to Mushroom's first experience and rewatching the Dean anime when she hasn't even read any of the visual novel at that point. And we were talking about like stuff that was cut from the anime that was just like, because like I remember watching the anime after playing the visual novel. It's like going like wait, what happened here? They just skipped over like 3 days. Yeah. What happened?
Yup. The experience. The fucking experience.
Yeah, because I think where we are is still we haven't even finished episode 1 of the Dean anime right now. Where we are in the visual novel.
Really? Day 5 is not episode 1 is day 5.
No, I know. I think it's wrong. Hold
okay. Because I was gonna say like day 5 is quite a bit. But I mean, I guess it's not impossible.
Like towards the end of episode 2, because 2 ends on the right before the Watsunagashi episode.
I mean, I wouldn't say like 1 day per episode because that's pretty I mean, we practically do 1 day per episode of this book club, but that's because I keep interrupting myself to go on random tangents. But like in terms of actual like stuff that happens, like I would say like at most 2 days per episode. I guess so we're up to day 5, so that's maybe not too bad.
They did about 3, and then they kind of sped through the final act.
Oh, I haven't seen the anime, so but that sounds pretty bad.
I saw it and forgot. Much like most mediocre pieces of media, I saw it and forgot.
I know they cut about half of day 1 and merged it with like day 3, I think.
Oh, interesting. Little changes to the story.
Changes like a kiss on
it's interesting how like the principal like shows up twice. Like they should have recruited him for chapter 8. You know, when they're getting the band together to like fight against the mountain dogs and stuff.
Principal would have soloed. Would have soloed the mountain dog.
No, Principal was the mountain dog.
He was the mountain dog.
Wait, what did he do? I remember, this is later on, but like I remember he doesn't really do much even when like fucking Rena holds the school hostage.
He is there when the school almost gets blown up. Besides that, I don't really remember what he does.
He pretty much shows up twice and then like he's gone. Like, like I don't remember him showing up.
Wait, it literally says he's a martial arts master. What the hell? He should have just been able to beat the mountain dogs. That's like the only thing on his Wikipedia page. It says he is ashamed of being bald, and he is a martial arts master.
I'm just say he's Agent 47. He's just Agent 47.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Maybe he is one of the mountain dogs.
He's got a perfect L-shaped L-shaped mustaches, like separated right in the middle.
He's got like the mixed Waluigi mustache.
He's got the mixed Waluigi mustache. Yeah, he's.
Oh my God, it's Waluigi in retirement phase.
Yeah, where were we? They were the card game.
Yeah, so Mion's just lost. So her penalty is to pat this man who his only 2 notable personality traits are that he hates being bald and that he is a martial arts master. And her job is to pat him on the head. And so Mion's approach is to kamikaze into the principal's office, screaming at the top of her lungs, and just try and just go for it. Probably more like that doesn't give her a lot of strategic advantage over the principal, but it probably gives her strategic advantage over her own like mortal fear. So that's probably, I'm guessing that's why she
the fear
goes
of
for
the
principal.
He's a martial arts master. He's gonna beat her ass.
Like a rag doll. Like he's gonna pick her up and just fucking smack her around, like and break her like a twig. And she usually pats her on the head.
Principal's gonna.
He's not gonna hurt her. Like that would be like that would like, especially
He's gonna dodge.
Like, you know me, like dude, fucking, he's gonna get killed if he fucking lays a finger on me.
He's a martial arts master. It says so
get
on the
murdered in his
Wikipedia
sleep
page.
If he does,
He would dodge. He would dodge. He's a martial arts master. He would dodge.
That tells me nothing. I can tell you I'm
He
a
would
martial
dodge
arts
his
master, and that's because I had like a blue belt.
He's a martial arts master. He would dodge any attack that comes at him.
He had a black belt when he was in 8th grade and never did martial arts ever since then.
No, it says he's a martial arts master. That implies he is.
You could still say you're a martial
He
arts
is-
master and you haven't done shit.
It says he's traveled all over the world on the Wikipedia. It doesn't say a source for it, but it says he traveled all over the world and that he's a martial arts master. I think he would put up.
The beach episode where no one.
It probably is. I mean, half the facts from that are like, if you look up where are they sourced from in Higurashi, are from like some scary episode with an insane plot written by someone who we've never seen since.
Listen, all I'm saying is there's a reason we never see the fragments where the principal gets L5. Because he just kills everyone too quickly.
Yeah,
like
we
there's
never
no
see
story.
it. Even in Go, we don't even see that in Go. He's just.
Even Keiichi's mom gets fucking L5.
There's so many fucking people that they had. There's like so many.
Keiichi's mom, they had. No, that's not Ayane, it's Kane. Ayane is the singer. Kane is the character.
And he doesn't because he's different. He's built different.
I mean, even fucking Tepe. No, not Tepe. Fucking Oishi gets it. Maybe Sasako just doesn't care about the principal. Maybe Sasako just doesn't care. Maybe she's too scared. That's
why. She would have
that's
lost.
Why she used that. Like that should have. That's what Rika should have done to beat Satsuko's trap. Is just be like, oh, befriend the principal because Satsuko's too scared of him.
He's too scared of him. I mean, here, let's just pull up an image of him.
Oh shit!
Just to look. That's the face.
Oh my god!
Are the eyes of a hardened martial arts master. Those are the eyes. His neck is.
This just me named Higurashi's most powerful character. And it's just
Higurashi's most powerful. Never dies in any arcs.
And it's just even like it's him. I don't know. Like this might be destiny. They either want him just either really powered up or just him in silhouette with question marks. As we talk about it.
He's. Never dies, never gets L5 in any of the arcs he's in.
We don't ever see him die, you're right. We never see him die.
Only fear is going bald. Only fear is being bald. Like, what a guy.
I mean, I think he does die at the end of Tatsuro Goroshi, as well as probably every version where, like, Rika gets
He probably died.
He definitely dies
but
in every arc.
He doesn't die on screen, so I like to think he used his martial arts to just beat back all the people with guns and then escape on his own.
He's the only survivor, but no one talks about him because if you
no one talks about him.
They will kill. He'll kill you.
Yeah, he kills you.
Yeah,
he's more powerful than any witch. He is the principal.
He is Higurashi's
the golden
strongest
principal.
Man. Okay, where the fuck were we?
Well, I think Mion was like trying to pat him on the head, screaming at the top of her lungs. But the way this goes is described in terms of like fighting game lingo. So he's like doing like he's practicing his up tilt to in air, nair, and Mion getting 0 to death. It's obvious, like, wait, is that the actual language they use? I think the actual, like, Des has put in, this is Smash lingo, which I am very familiar with.
Yeah.
Despite how badly I pronounced it. But I think they talk about, like, him using meter in the chapter I read.
Smash lingo.
Like, the translation I read, so, yeah, but either way, they're, like, you know, talking about, like, he just full-on combos, the student.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He combos her and fucking kills her, yeah. ends her life.
He's 3-gauge super.
On that topic, Higurashi especially has a lot of strange surface level references to other media, and it's the Xbox rant.
The actual text used, they say, like, Rika says, the principal's special launcher move just started, and you get, like, boof, pow, whack, zuzzing, kaboom, and then following the launcher with a jab, jab, strong, fierce combo. He's even using meter. So this is, like, I'm guessing probably, like, Street Fighter or something. I don't know too much about, like, that, some kind of fighting game,
Yeah, some fighting game lingo that I don't know.
Some fucking fighting game that I'm too not good at fighting games to know about. Sorry.
So yeah, I don't think Mion actually succeeds in patting the principal on the head, but I guess the thought was what counted. She like drags herself back, and they play another round. And so the next round,
she recovers. He went easy.
Next round, Rena loses, and she has to roleplay as a maid for the rest of the game, which is like okay. Which apparently, like,
I think technically Mion wrote this. I think it's hinted that Mion wrote it.
See, like,
Keiichi.
The only thing that seems to
who wrote that one? I wonder.
There's like I don't think they ever pick out one. I might be wrong. I don't think they ever pick out one that Keiichi wrote.
I think Keiichi probably wrote something very tame, knowing that like didn't really going. Yeah, you just have to eat like them nasty melon, huh? Eat some stinky food, ha! Or like walk outside and scream, ah! Yeah, there's a very good chance that Mion wrote that made one, because that does seem very much that's Mion's personality.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm never quite sure what exactly Japan's perception of what it means to like what a maid means is, because like pretty much all Rena does is like call people master. It's like, is that it? Is that what you meant? Like,
I mean, it's probably very Akihabara like kind of idea.
Yeah, it's not like I want you to go clean my house.
I need you to clean my house. Do my laundry.
Not a sexy maid at all.
And then Rena loses again, so like she has to also undress while still like these feel like they were all written by Keiichi, but they probably weren't. I think it's like it's remove a piece of clothing from the top and the bottom. Which like doesn't Rena wear a hat? Why didn't she just take her hat off?
Yeah.
Not in her school uniform. She doesn't wear a hat in her school uniform.
Yeah.
Does she not? No, you're right.
She only wears
take off your tie then.
Yeah, that's true. You should just take off the tie. Does she have a tie?
Take off like your tie and your socks. Yeah, she has a tie. It's part of her school uniform.
Yeah, you just take off your shoes and your tie. You don't have to take off your skirt and your whole tie.
Well, Higurashi's a little bit bad sometimes, so you know.
It gets worse. It gets worse. So,
don't worry. It gets worse. Heart.
Yeah, this is probably the most weird part. Yeah, this is where it just gets really weird.
It just gets really fucking... Okay, just out of curiosity, you want to leave this?
Sorry, I'm looking ahead and I just saw something. Oh god.
Oh, we're getting weird. Well, let's just rip that Band-Aid off. Let's get into it. Let's keep
first,
doing
I want to apologize to Des. I am not going to read this paragraph that you've written. I just don't want to read it. I've already covered the events of the removing one piece of clothing from the top and the bottom.
Can I see it? What did he write? I don't want to read it, but I'm curious what Des wrote.
It's not that bad. I just don't want to read it.
Is it just stuff we already covered?
Okay. Why does it say background music Helter Skelter?
Oh yeah, that's the one that repeats like every 5 seconds.
Des, if you want that to be read, if you want that to be read, record that in your own voice and edit it in the episode. I'm not.
Okay, I'm sorry. That can't be read.
I'm not reading.
Oh no. This is gonna get cut. Oh,
Has to put a bakery front for the residents. Keiichi knows.
anyways,
That's
Rena's just
insane.
she takes off her clothes. It's just she has gym clothes on, even though realistically, I don't know how she fit that underneath her clothes because I think the shirt has a higher neckline than her actual school uniform by like a half inch.
Wait, so you're saying like her school? Well,
like
interesting.
It's like her. Yeah. You could be able to because her school uniform has like a little dent where she can see her the top, like her top of her sternum, like where like the right below the neck. But like her PE outfit covers that. So in the sprites, she's not wearing it. She like magically puts it on.
What the hell? This is literally bullshit. 1984 and Rikishio 7 should be drawn and quartered. I think for that one.
So, I think Keiichi at this point just decides that he doesn't want to lose anymore. Or like he hasn't lost at all, but he's like, I really need to make sure I don't lose because, these are all real bad. And so like he becomes a god. He just is really good at getting dealt the good hand, I suppose. Like you could definitely you can play well at president and all, but like
it is a very luck-based
at the end of the
game.
day, like you're often just like hamstrung by what your cards are. Like you probably will eventually lose, but apparently Keiichi is just able to manifest his like inner desire to win as the heart of the cards, and just draws aces and twos.
He's just better.
Satoko loses, and like this is a rough one. She's forced to roleplay a little sister and call Keiichi an older brother, which like wow.
Isn't that what she already? Wait, no. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, that's bad.
That's really
bad. Bad. Jesus Christ. I had to think about it for a second. I was like, that's bad. That's not good.
I think this one was written by Keiichi. I think this one was done by Keiichi. Because I think he would be like, oh, it's not too bad, right. But it's bad. Haha, I get to feel my...
Keiichi be like, haha, here... That's very much like up his alley. He's like, here's this thing, it's not that bad. It's like, little did he know they had 200 layers of trauma and a bunch of things he didn't know about, and now you fucked up, bitch boy.
Activate people's trauma unintentionally.
He does that a lot. He does that a lot, especially in like these early episodes. So he'll just be like, he'll just offhandedly be like, "Oh, Satoko, you can like go take this to your parents," like, or like. And last time we were talking about how, like, he's like, "Oh, tell Satoko her parents are here to pick her up," and it's like, oh, like unexpected, like.
Man, Keiichi, you gotta. I think like watch your.
Given like Tadagoroshi, like Satoko actually does seem to like really, she really bonds with like Keiichi in that one, and like starts to like, not call him her like Nini, but like is I don't know, like of all the people, like it's probably like she probably does look up to Keiichi as almost like an older brother.
Proud to call she could trust that she like Keiichi doesn't like, because one, I think she looks up to Keiichi just because Keiichi is just someone that doesn't know what she went through, and just
I totally get you.
Where like she knows like, oh, he won't feel bad for me because he doesn't know. He's not forced to feel bad for me. It's not. It's like, oh, you're only hanging out. She doesn't have that loneliness thinking of like, oh, this person's only hanging out with me because they feel bad for me. It's just more like, hey, they hang out with me because they genuinely like hanging out with me. They don't know the whole thing I went through.
I gotcha.
So yeah,
totally gotcha.
The tomfoolery continues. They just Keiichi keeps winning, and so things like I think Satoko ends up with a bell collar. Mion ends up wearing a swimsuit.
I don't fucking remember this. What is
You don't remember the dog collar Satoko?
I think my brain must have like glazed over when I read this, because I just don't. It's like, oh, they're like the worst things that could happen. Like the show brings out the thing brings out the worst part of its. Sorry, I shouldn't. I should save the rant for later.
Yeah. No, it definitely like I don't remember Oni Kakushi like dragging this long and with the like kind of parts like but yeah, this is like day 5 and we're like we're still doing this shit. It doesn't last, but yeah.
At this point, a man has already been. Wait, no, has a man been burned in a barrel yet? I don't think so. Actually, no. He's okay right now.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in this chapter.
Yeah, like Rika ends up with cat ears and a tail. Like Mion has to like fan Keiichi. Keiichi's like got his head in like Rena's lap. It's like wow.
Wow.
But then all of a sudden, Keiichi loses.
Would you mention Rika cat ears?
And then
is it worth mentioning?
Sorry,
sorry.
I did mention the cat ears.
Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, if it's probably worth mentioning, if only because Keiichi loses, and when he draws his penalty, it just says everything, all of them, all at once.
Oh yeah, that's right. He has to do like every single penalty that happened at once because he's an asshole.
Yeah, he has to wear a girl swimsuit. Fucking, I mean, I wish he had a sprite here. Come on, I want to see Keiichi in a swimsuit. But that makes me sound weird.
But yeah, so he has to wear a swimsuit.
I put my fucking hands in my head and just shook my fucking head. I'm sorry. Continue, Horse Fry. I'm sorry.
So, like, to summarize, he ends up with cat ears, a tail, a collar, a swimsuit. He has to call everyone master, and he has to call them also, like, I guess, Big Brother. I'm not sure what the exact wording on the thing was, but he has to.
Yeah, that's. And he's a maid.
And he's a maid.
What a punishment.
And then with all of that,
what a fucking punishment.
And then with all of that, he has to go and pat the principal on the head, which
he has to go. The principal, I think, will just be in fucking shock. You probably just walk up to him and touch him on the head and then leave.
Yeah, like I mean, he does get.
You walk in talking like that, dressed like that.
Yeah, he does get juggle comboed, but yeah, I think like
he literally gets stage bounced. He gets 3 stocks. He got 3 stocks.
Yeah, I just remembered as well. Like I think they point out in the walk home that like Rika probably wrote the pat the principal on the head thing because Rika could 100% get away with that.
Yeah, Rika could get away with that. No one else could, but Rika could. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, that is a good strategy for writing punishments. Write a punishment that you could do easily, but everyone else would have an awful time with. So you don't end up writing a punishment that you would hate to do, and you end up getting it yourself. And that's how to win these club games.
Which makes it funny because she was the one who said, like, now don't do one that says no penalty, you know, like... But then she probably wrote this one.
Yeah, don't do that. And then she does no penalty. Well, that's Rika for you.
Well, that's
being
also
like,
not a penalty.
I would never cheat, and then she cheats like 50 times. I would never do it. I'm much better. She is.
She cheats on Satoko and Go, and that's why Go happened.
So, so after that, Rena and Rika walk home.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up! I'm sorry, Horse Fry, continue. This guy's fucking...
Rika and Rena walk home, and Keiichi and Mion are just on their own. And they walk into Tomitake, and he's like, "Oh, you got a different girl on your arm this time, Keiichi." You know, gives him the old tease.
Yeah, gives him the tease.
And wow, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm not reading this one either, Des. I don't know. Was he going to read these?
Did Des like lose his mind when he wrote these? Wait, can you send it? I want to see how bad it is.
I mean. I don't.
Did he? We don't have to leave this part.
For the benefit of the people watching, these are not like the worst things, and like they're accurate. I just don't want to read these words in sequence. I don't know.
It's just I don't want to say these out loud to myself. It's like something that If
probably
Des
would
said
be.
it would be
Yeah.
fine, but I'm not gonna say that. Tomitake was saying, "Oh, you have another lady."
So this
on
is,
your
it's
own."
just a bit of like banter, I guess, between them, and then Tomitake leaves, and then Keiichi's like, "Yeah, that guy taking photos of birds, right?" And like Neon's like, "Yeah, he's gonna get famous probably, but he's probably not gonna get famous. But he said he'd take a photo of me if he ever got famous." And Keiichi's like, "Do you think like maybe he's here for like a different reason? Maybe a dismemberment incident or something?" And Mion's like, no, I don't. And then they walk home. So, but like, I mean, Keiichi's like right on the money. Like, he's just like, this guy doesn't seem like he's here to take photographs of birds.
He's like, this guy, he's like, he seems strange, and he's like, maybe.
And then we get a tip, which is just about like, it's kind of like instructions for the Watanagashi festival, like saying like anyone who wants to help out with this and that, call
in case
these
you want to
people.
do your own.
Yeah, here's a 200 yen refreshment stand ticket, which like 200 yen that's like $2, right?
Hey, if you donate $10, you get a freshman ticket. It's about $2. Yeah,
It's about something like that.
I don't know about 1980.
$2 million.
Yeah, there's probably not too much really with this tip that I like. It's just kind of cool background information, kind of setting the background for tips, I guess. They mention the Makino family, which is in charge of accepting goods for the bazaar store, and Des has just left a note saying like he didn't remember the Makino family ever being mentioned again. So he looked it up, and apparently the head Makino is a close friend of Kimiyoshi, the mayor. And he sits in meetings with the three families, and he's also the guy who drives Akasaka and Rika in his van in Himatsubushi. That's interesting. And also apparently in the mobile port that allegedly exists, there's a character called Shimiko Makino that works at the 7th Mart, and even has a sprite of her own. So that's a huge rabbit hole. I mean, it's still a side character. Like a family of side characters, but
yeah, that's like a huge rabbit hole. Yeah, it's just like a little side character.
I just would have read that as like, the Smith family is taking donations.
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever,
interesting.
But like,
yeah, it's easy to sometimes kind of think about it as just like, these are just characters that just kind of like a lot of the side characters just kind of come in and out of existence as they are needed in the story. But no, for the most part, like, you can sort of like, even if the details are very minor, you can still be like, oh yeah, that person is part of this family and they did this thing. It's one small tight-knit town, Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting.
Very important somehow. I mean, literally, I think Hinamizawa could be a really, like, honestly, if Go was better, I think they could have done it better with it. Like, better, because like Hinamizawa has a lot of development. They could have made stories with it, but they decided just to use the worst part, just never use any of the things they had inside of Hinamizawa.
Yeah, I do agree that like you said, if Go was better, but big if, but if Go was better, they could have fleshed out the more details of the background characters. Yeah, I agree.
Instead of just going like, hey, here's an arc about Keiichi. Here's like 30 seconds of a scene where Keiichi's mom kills Keiichi. Yay! Yeah. No development on her as a character. No one cares about her struggles.
No, I mean, okay. I can get into that later, but it's a show very full of just surface level what if this happened scenarios that aren't trying to mean or say or be anything besides fit fodder for a Wikipedia entry that says, in this arc, this character did this.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That is all it is.
I'm still not watching Go.
Yeah, unfortunately. But
alright, so we'll move on. That was the 5th day. And then we move on a few days from here. So Des has just left a note here about the dates, which is probably worth going through. So the day of the Watanagashi is June 19th, 1983. And then in this arc, the Watanagashi festival takes place on the 9th day after the start of the arc, which means the arc started on June the 10th, which is when the first day Keiichi spends back in Hinamizawa. Or actually, no, that's the day he travels, isn't it? That's the day he travels. So
I think that's the day he gets back on the train. Yeah.
Yeah. So June 10th to June 19th is what I've done so far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, because second day is the Sunday, right? This is where they just have lunch in the Furude Shrine, and that was the Sunday.
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, I believe so.
So so it's the morning of the Watanagashi. His mum's like, "Oh, you should wear this old yukata," but he's like, "Nah, I'm just gonna wear like normal clothes. Like no one else is gonna wear formal wear to a festival anymore." And Keiichi's dad is like asleep on the couch. He's too tired to get up right now. So Keiichi goes off ahead with Rena, and they note that like it's been 4 days since they've like actually done any like actual club activities. Like Mion and Rena, Mion and Rika are both members of the committee, and so like they have been just so busy that they just like haven't had time to actually convene a proper club activity.
Yeah, they've just been so busy. They just haven't had time for like little activities.
Yeah, which is probably why we've skipped ahead. Like there's been nothing to say, so gone straight to day 9. Yeah, and then Keiichi has wisely not eaten anything all day, knowing that one of the competitions for this game, for this competition, will probably be like eating a shitload of food. And and they get to the festival, and Keiichi is surprised to see that like Hinamizawa is like bustling, or the shrine grounds are bustling. Yeah, like I guess normally like Hinamizawa is there's probably like 5 people on the street at any one time, but like
now it's
like an actually packed festival.
Oh, and here's everyone in Hinamizawa and like from Okinomiya.
Here's everyone in one spot. Yeah, someone who's lived in a small town before, it's definitely a strange feeling to see everyone in just one spot and see it very like crowded. It's just like, huh? What the fuck? Where are all the rest of you guys normally?
And so he walks around the stalls with Rena and Mion, and he starts noticing that that those two are being greeted left and right, like celebrities. And we've got another rabbit hole here. So one of the characters who chats with Rena is called Kazumasa, and so Des googled him and didn't find anything. Okay.
What the hell? A rabbit hole of my
You did
nowhere.
find multiple pages about an anime industry staff member called. Oh, there is a real person called Kazumasa Higurashi. Interesting. He's an anime industry staff member.
There is a real person called Kazuma. Huh.
So,
Kazuma?
yeah, Kazumasa, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Little.
10 years in the joint made you a Higurashi fan.
Okay.
10 years in the joint range. Little Yakuza reference.
And so, yeah, Rena mentions that Mion is pretty well known and pretty popular with the older people in the village, and Keiichi's like, you're not, you're pretty cute yourself, when she's just, quote, blushing quietly. Great, thanks, Keiichi. Real good compliment you just gave. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
And yeah, Rika shows up. She's all dressed up for her.
She's got the shrimp festival. She's got to do the dance.
Ritual dance.
Yeah. What's it called? The ritual. She's gonna do the ritual.
There's a name of the dance, but I can't remember what it's called. I knew what dance it is. Oh, I don't have it saved in my favorites. No.
Yeah, it's this. Here you go, Riley. There it is. That's her dance. That's what she does.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they have an eating competition for takoyaki, which is like they're like dough balls with like octopus, I think. It's takoyaki.
Very tasty.
Yeah.
Very tasty. As a very good. It's hard to find a place that does them well. It's very hard
Right.
to find a place that does them well.
Right.
But they're
Do
very
you think like Keiichi says like the ones at the festival are like haven't got any octopus in them? Basically, they're just like 99% dough.
Yeah, that's how people do it. They put the tiniest little piece of octopus in the middle, and they're mostly dough. Oh wait, no, these are probably just like actually just specifically only dough. I'm realizing.
Right. Yeah, and so they have an octopus eating competition. They have a shaved ice eating competition, which Keiichi like he wins by like taking water from the goldfish bowl and like pouring it into his shaved ice to melt it. Which like I gotta hand that to you. That's like that's real smart. Like
I don't like. Depends on how warm that water is.
That is real smart, but it's also fucking fish piss water.
yeah, it's gross. But yeah.
It's nasty, but a win's a win.
And then they do one at the cotton candy stand, where like I think like 4 out of 5 people like have the idea to like just like crush it in their hands and like just eat it as like a little ball. And apparently they do that in 3 seconds, which I think is pretty impressive. Like I think even if I'd had that idea, it probably would have taken me like 20 seconds to eat an entire cotton candy on a stick. That's so fast.
3 seconds. God damn.
Yeah.
They must have had some practice beforehand. 3 seconds. Yeah. I guess that makes sense. It's just like that. It's just you just crush it as much of it as you can. Yeah, it's about 3 seconds.
I mean, it's probably not gonna taste good because like it'll dissolve with your saliva, but it's not gonna be fun.
I would be really worried about like it would just turn into like a sludge, and like I'd be really worried about that blocking my like windpipe. It's just like sugar syrup.
Like if you've eaten cotton candy, like when you're getting to like the edge of it, it's just like slightly saliva covered in a clump. It's not fun.
I haven't eaten cotton candy in like 15 years, so...
Last time I think I ate cotton candy was at like a circus.
Yeah, were you performing there?
Okay.
I'm sorry. You said the circus. I had to.
I was doing my rendition of Afro Circus, and I'm going,
The circus, Afro Circus.
Yeah, and then the next game, Rena is just asking. Rena asks the rest of the club members to find something that she thinks is cute, and so like everyone just runs off and grabs cute things, and then Rika's like, "Oh, but aren't I very cute?" and like does the whole like fall over in her like in her shrine outfit, and like that my sleeves are too long, and like that's very cute. And then Keiichi is like, "Hey, come behind this shed, and I'll show you my furry seal."
Oh.
Which I don't know why he needed to. Wait, no, I do know why he needed to take her away, because he didn't want the rest of the club members to see his furry seal. But
what?
Yeah, he's
his furry seal?
Keiichi has made like a keychain thing as part of like art class, like in primary school, and like he still has it, but he's also like really ashamed of it. Like he's like, "Oh my god, it looks so bad." And that's the cute part, and like it's very wholesome. He's he shares that with Rena.
Higurashi actually wholesome moments.
The not so wholesome part is like the rest of
his ding dong. He's a hostess ding dong.
You know, it didn't happen. So
having to talk about Higurashi is like here's the parts that are good and cute and fun and wholesome, and then here's the parts that are like objectively kind of bad.
I've talked about this before. It's like a funny like balancing act where like definitely like you know kids are not like they're not shy about talking about this stuff, but at the same time like a lot of this. Nah, like it doesn't land.
Yeah, no.
It's too anime.
But it just,
Yeah.
it feels like it's way too over the top, and it often comes off as more,
Yeah.
it often just comes off as more anime bullshit than just,
Yeah. Yeah.
kids being kids and being fucking doofuses and stuff, you know? Yeah, it's rough. I think if they had just done a better job, maybe not. I think if they had just not done as much of it as frequent as it is, it would have been a lot easier to stomach, but yeesh.
I mean, the fact that it's all at the front probably works in its advantage. Like, it doesn't help for us now because we've just been doing we've just been doing
That
episode
is
after episode
true.
of this is
It
episode
is
4,
all
right?
up front.
So like 4 episodes, but like we haven't caught a break really so far. But
No, it's just been
I mean, we're at the good thing is we're at the halfway point. Like after watching Nagashi, we're at the halfway point. We get the whole like monologue and stuff.
yeah, and like you know, from here on out, like it obviously gets you know, worse for the club members. It's probably like more the part that like people actually remember Higurashi for.
I don't think anyone remembers Higurashi
Yeah.
for the amazing,
Like-
the amazing card
Yeah.
activities followed by sexualizing children.
At the same time, I think the scenes are like the writing is good in that I feel like the characters are having fun. I get that part. Like I
like that
definitely-
part. I think it's fun.
That bit is
like-
written well. It's just
Yeah, there's just like
it's uncomfortable to read.
I think it suffers from just it feels like it also just is pretty narratively dissonant at times.
Yeah,
It just
true.
feels like we're not even really reading the same writing anymore. It's just like becomes something entirely different for a little bit as a gag, which is like fine when it's like once or twice and the subject material isn't that, you know, iffy. But when it's like constantly, and it really does feel like it's constantly sometimes, it's just this breakneck pace of actually good, compelling, thought-provoking writing, and you know.
Yeah, I think
You
he's gotten
know.
better at it. I think he's gotten better at it. Ciconia.
I think he's gotten a lot better at mixing
Yeah.
those two styles and realizing what works and doesn't work, and rather than just getting really weird moments like
Yeah.
that, I think he's gotten a lot better, like you said. Yeah,
Like I think even Umineko is a huge like step up
Umineko
from this-
is even a huge step up. Like, there are some things at the beginning of
Yeah.
Umineko, but those, for the most part, don't feel too out of character. Like, Battler is an asshole, and he does some
Yeah.
asshole things sometimes. So that's like, that's fair. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
Everyone's an asshole in Umineko.
And everyone is like, and everyone is like, you're kind of being a freak, dude. Cut that out.
What Umineko does well is like it gets a lot of the stuff out of the way quickly, and it doesn't feel like we've not gotten to know the characters. But it just does it a lot more quickly. It gets out of the way more quickly. It also like this stuff only happens for like EP1, and then like after that, like,
pretty
he
much.
saves.
Completely falls off.
Yeah. And then there was a comment on one of our book clubs, I want to say, or maybe it was on the anniversary episode, where someone said, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, but they said like, yeah, Ciconia is like a really good example of where it feels like these are like, it does feel like they're kids who are like interacting like children rather than like doing weird like anime shit.
Doing weird anime shit like they were in Higurashi.
I mean, Jaden is a really good character because of that. Like, that's one of the things, the reason I really like Jaden,
Yeah.
because Jaden approaches situations genuinely out of curiosity. Like, the whole, like, meow stuff was, like, really well done, because it just felt like, oh, he's pursuing this because he's curious, and actually genuinely interested by meow and the person, and genuinely is just trying to figure out, oh, how should I approach this, as opposed to being like, what?
How to approach this versus, like, in Higurashi, it's like, alright, I want you to
Yeah.
get on all fours and put on this bell collar around your neck and wear the maid costume and, wear the swimsuit and it's, yeah.
Even though I will argue that Ciconia has more fucked up stone in it, but that was more...
Yeah, but Ciconia's fucked up stuff is actually there for a reason and not there because the writer was going crazy at the moment.
Yeah, that's for a funny. It's not there for a funny.
Yeah.
It's there for serious reasons.
It's there for reasons versus, like, Higurashi has, like, things that are, like, bad and meant to be bad in the story, and then also just has things that are bad, but the story does not treat them as bad, or also kind of just doesn't even really treat them like they even happened a lot of the time. But, I don't know. I think a lot of that does just come from, like, not knowing how to really merge those two aspects together.
And it's throughout Higurashi as well. It doesn't dissipate like it does in Umineko.
It doesn't dissipate. It sticks around.
You're halfway through the series, and then just like a guy shows up, and he's like a pedophile, and like all the characters are like, "Oh, that area. He's such a knee slapper."
Oh, that guy, and then he'll be like, and then he'll say. And then he'll say something kind of cool and, like, kind of actually pretty nice, and then you are immediately reminded that he is a pedophile, and it's just like, oh my god, what is wrong with this fucking...
Yeah, personally, like, he has a dramatic backstory, he has, like, oh, I have to find this here, and then you're like,
he's important to the plot, he's extremely important to the plot, but he's also just like, I want to see children in maid outfits. And I want them to come to my house.
Yeah. Alright. So, right as they're kind of having a big kerfuffle, like I think Mion hits Keiichi before Rena can explain what the first seal was. Tomitake takes a picture, and they rope him into the activities. And Keiichi's like, hey, why don't you live here? Like... This village, it's like, it's really, and then he gets like cut off. People are like, hey, like, dude's got a job, like he can't just move wherever he wants.
Dude has a job, you stupid child.
He's a job.
But they get him to join in on the club activities, which is very fun. And they go to the shooting gallery, and they like compete to who can get the best prize. And so like Mion goes first, and she just takes out 3 little candy boxes. But then is it Satoko goes next? Satoko goes next, and she tries for. I think they. Oh. Yeah, she tries for the big bear, but she can't.
I think everyone tries for the bear. To this point, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so like like various people. So I think like Rika tries, and she gets like given a consolation prize. And like Rena, it might be Satoko, tries 3 times, and then she tries twice, and she can't. She figures she can't get it to work on the 3rd time, so she goes for like a smaller prize. Yeah, basically like Tomitake tries to go for the bear and like just gets nothing. So he's the loser. And then Keiichi's like, I've got to step up here. I'm gonna get that bear. And I think he does. Yeah, he shoots it 3 times with 3 loaded
Well,
guns.
He has plenty of practice.
I think he shoots it in the head, because like he tries to use like the body flipping over. Also, like, this is like a weak gun. They say it multiple times, like, this gun is pretty weak. Like, you have to, like, him to even knock down that bear, like, he had to hit it, like, in its head a couple of times, because, like, you need it to, like, flop.
Back to back.
Have its has back flop so it can flop over itself to knock over it. I believe that's the way it worked. Because if you shot it straight in the chest, it wasn't going to have enough force to move the entire bear.
Yeah, like that. You need the leverage.
Gotta shoot it on the head so it falls in the back and then knock it down. I believe that's what he did. He wins the bear. Yeah.
So
it wasn't even like a big bear. It was like a normal teddy bear, wasn't it?
I think it was a pretty huge
bear. I think
bear.
so. I'm trying to remember what it looked like.
Yeah. The next thing is like Rika has to go to do the dance, and everyone's heading for the shrine, like the place where the ritual will be done. And like Rena gets swept away because she's got this big bear, and she can't like. It's so big that she like can't resist being pulled along with the crowd. So like Keiichi has to like run and grab her. So it's like a pretty huge bear.
Mm-hmm. No, that's right. It is pretty big.
So yeah, like that's what happens. They watch Rika's dance, her ritual, where she takes like an old like ritual hoe.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's like I want to say it's like a blade. Like I know what a hoe is for a garden, but I want to say that maybe it really is just a hoe for it, because I always imagined it as like a big blade on a stick.
It is just a hoe. It's a decorated hoe.
I think it just is kind of like a gardening tool. It has a thing of bells on it, from what I remember. Maybe it's been.
I mean, you'll see it like if you've seen the fighting.
It has like a little tassel, right? At the very least, it has like a tassel and a bell, and it's like decorated. It's a nice little ritual instrument, but it's also like it kind of is the tip, kind of like
Yeah,
that's right.
That's a more better image of it. Just blurred.
Yeah, just blurred. Well, you can still kind of tell.
So is the blade still
But
is the blade still perpendicular to the shaft?
Yes, it is perpendicular, and also
Yes.
I don't think it's just a blade. I think it's just like more metal. Even though I think because it's not like a hoe that like can damage to the ground, it's more realistic. It's more like a shaking bell, like to purify things. That's what it more looks like.
Yeah, I think that's the whole kind of the point of it, and also, well, there's all that stuff later, but we can get into that stuff later.
But like, yeah, it's definitely like, given what we know later, where like they used this for like tearing people's guts out, seems like a pretty horrible like tool to use for that. And like what she does is like she like carefully like pulls like shreds out the cotton filling of a futon. Which, like,
Yeah, it's very...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's...
There's no elegant way to do that with a hoe. Like, it's just this...
No, it's just... I mean, it just makes me think of the fucking scene from episode 16 of Go, honestly. That's fucking gross. That's so gross. It's the one where Satogo is hoeing Rika with that that same instrument, doing pretty much what's happening.
The one you watched
right
on
now.
your lunch. I do remember that.
Yep. Watched that over lunch. But yeah, that fucking hoe. Rika does the dance, the little ritual dance.
So, yeah, I mean, aside from that, there's not too much to say about it. She does the little dance. She tears out oh my god, tear out the guts. Mm-hmm. Is that where Vern Castell gets that from? Yep. Is from Higurashi? I never even thought of that. I thought it was because she was a cat. But she tears out the guts in Umineko because she tore out the guts in Higurashi too.
Tear out the guts. Oh.
I never made that connection.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Oh yeah. Tear out the guts.
So yeah, and like once she's done, basically they hand out little balls of cotton to everyone. And they go and wash it down the river, and there's a ritual, and Rena is teaching Keiichi how to do the prayer to Oyashiro-sama, which like in this is like it just comes off very normal because she's just like, oh, like say this, and this is what Oyashiro-sama is the guardian god of Hinamizawa, and he gives out blessings and curses, so make sure you stay on his good side and stuff. It just sounds like she's like giving him information and like telling him how to do it, but like you can definitely feel in a reread that like she's very serious about this. Like she treats this very seriously. Like if Keiichi had like,
she treats it very
if Keiichi had been like anything but like respectful, which is what he is, like she probably would have gotten like maybe that would have been his first like cat eyes jump scare moment. Where she goes like, "Don't fuck with Oshiro-sama."
Oh yeah, she goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could have. I think it does kind of freak. Well, it does freak him out a little later. I think when he really thinks about it, because but yeah,
he does think it sounds like kind of frightening that he's like a god of curses and like like he's like, oh man, but he's like, oh, like it's just a festival, it's up and having fun, and so he just goes along with it, and then there is one more bit to day 9, which is where he's just as part of the festivities, he gets separated from the rest of the club members, but he runs into Tomitake and also Takano, who is just named Woman, I think, in at least the
Woman,
the something awful forum that we use for
she
for
has a
recapping.
sprite at this point, right?
Well, it shows a sprite. So it shows a sprite in.
I
It shows a
I don't
sprite in the
actually
something awful forum where they let's played it. I definitely remember that there isn't a sprite in the original, like the original game, the original Onikakushi with the Ryukishi sprites. I don't think
the original Higurashi.
Yeah.
He does not.
Oh,
have
yeah,
a
she doesn't
sprite.
have a
In,
sprite.
like every.
Yeah.
In like every other version, she does, because honestly, it's kind of stupid that she doesn't have a sprite. Because I mean, it's just doesn't.
I mean, there's
really
an
make
earlier
it...
point where she doesn't have a sprite, but that's
Yeah.
because they just mentioned her as nurse.
That's because it's like, oh, there she is in the background. Look at her. There's Nurse Takano. Anyway, type of thing. Versus like, hey, here's this
Here it's more important because this is like her proper introduction,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like if she's not have a sprite here, you're breaking Nox's rules.
Yeah.
Which I think Higurashi breaks Nox's rules anyway.
It does, yeah.
It breaks it like 50,000
Yeah.
times over. It's
like
I mean, it doesn't break that rule though.
yeah. Well, I mean, I would argue that not giving your fucking character a sprite breaks the rule, but it doesn't directly break it. So they're off.
I'm just imagining people like making theories after the release of Onikakushi, like, oh yeah, it was clearly woman. Woman was the culprit the whole time.
I don't think anyone would have guessed.
Clearly, woman was the goal. No, there's like no way you would have figured out Takano in the original release was
she doesn't die. She just disappears, right?
Yeah, in the first one she just disappears.
I think it does connect the name
So it's not
Takano eventually. Actually, maybe they probably eventually just like say her name Takano, but
I assume someone says Takano. Like, I think in the anime they say Takano. They have a full reveal of her in the anime, mostly because at that point they knew Takano would be a little bit more of a major character by that point.
I'm just going to control F Takano. No, nothing in there. So like, yeah, she's just called woman the whole
They
time.
don't call us.
Which is interesting because
She just died.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main villain of the entire
Yeah.
series. And you just don't even name drop her in the first chapter.
like I could be wrong. I'm just doing this on the fly, but like yeah, I controlled F and her name didn't come up.
I mean, I could probably just read
Yeah.
this section.
Anyway, like what basically happens is Keiichi comes over. They have a chat about how he's been separated and from his friends and doesn't know where they are and stuff. And they're just chatting about how he's getting on with everyone. But he still has on his mind the dismemberment incident, and especially the way his friends have reacted to him trying to find out more information about it. How they've been so kind of tight-lipped about it. And so Tomitake's like, well, I mean, I know a little bit about it. I was around when that happened. So I can tell you about that. And he explains, like, it was, some dam workers and, they thought it was a disagreement over, like, workplace something. And they killed him, and then the ringleader made them butcher it up and hide the pieces. But all of them except the ringleader came forward, and then it's only a matter of time before they find the ringleader. And Keiichi's like, when you put it like that, it doesn't sound too bad. And he's like, I hope the killings don't continue this year. And Keiichi's like, what? What?
And he's just like,
Tomitake.
What? What you say? Stop.
Yeah, I don't know if he
this
did that on purpose, but he very clearly went from like Keiichi's like, okay, well I have everything I need to know, and then he's just like, by the way, did you know that like every year someone dies at Watanagashi?
Yeah.
What a thing to
Which is
tell
weird,
someone.
Considering that there's not like more of a police presence or like.
There is.
No, there is. It's just outside the festival.
There is. It's just one guy who's crazy.
Yeah, it's just Oishi, which is not much of a bigger police presence.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if it happens 4 years in a row, the 5th year, you should probably be like, all right, we should probably buff up security a little bit.
No, they do. They say they've got plainclothes policemen patrolling the grounds. I think Tomitake says that. Because, like, he does the whole thing of, like, he makes Keiichi feel better, and then he, like, accidentally, like, or I don't know, it might have been on purpose, and that's, like, something I wonder, like, does Tomitake gain anything from making Keiichi go L5? Is he, like, trying to figure out if Keiichi is going L5? Like, we were talking before about how he keeps showing up, like, following them into the dam, like, or the dam site where the rubbish dump is dumped. And like wondering, like, is he watching Keiichi and Rena for like signs of L5? So yeah, I don't have an answer to that, but like he definitely does like put his foot in his mouth if he didn't mean to, because he's like he drops the whole like there's been a killing every year, and people say, oh, it's the curse of Oyashiro-sama, and Keiichi like starts like freaking out, visibly freaking out, because like he then goes back on that again and goes like, hey, no, think about this, like, you know, the first killing was just like a bunch of people like murdering a guy who was an asshole to them. And then the second killing, I can't remember the order, so I think he says...
Was Satoko's parents. I think it's Satoko's parents, Rika's parents...
Was it Satoko's parents? That's right, yeah. So the Shinto priest is third, yeah.
Because the first two were just coincidence.
Yeah.
Like, them happening on the same day was good. The third one was purposely set up by Takano, and then the fourth was used by... Satoshi to hide, and then the fifth one is just them. And then there's this whole scene of like Keiichi going like, "Oh my god!" And then what happened on the fifth year? And he's like, "Oh well, I don't know. You tell me." Like, which is like he does such a bad job of like,
what happened in the fifth year? It's like, well, nothing yet, and he's just like, oh no.
Considering that there's two people here who like are the experts. I mean, I guess Tomitake's a soldier, but like these two people know everything about Hinamizawa syndrome. I understand Takano like doing things like giving Rena her like notebook full of like alien theory and stuff, but like Tomitake, like I don't understand why he's like trying to like egg on this visibly distraught child who like he probably has some cause to think
Tomitake is a fucking bonehead.
Yeah.
I think he's just really fucking dumb.
Tomitake probably just not good with children. I mean, he doesn't really handle Riko really well in the final chapter. Yeah. He just goes, what? He goes like, oh, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
What is this child talking about? I don't think he handles children very well. Or like how to handle like people freaking out, because he's like just a special trained agent. That's all he is. He's not. He's just like he's a military guy.
He's a cameraman. He's just
it's weird. He always takes photos of military bases. Why is he doing that?
Yeah, he's a fucking bonehead. That's for sure.
Yeah, but yeah. So he does this whole thing of like getting Keiichi all the way worked up, and he's like, oh, like, you know, the curse could happen again this year. Ooh. And then like when Keiichi gets like so visibly like worried about this, he's like, hey, no, like, listen, like these were all just, you know, unconnected murders, which he kind of knows. Can I point out one other thing, which is just kind of fucked up, how like Takano can just murder the Shinto priest and his wife just because she wants to like do human experiments on Rika, and like there's no way Tomitake didn't know about that, or am I wrong? Like did she do that? Because she does have some.
Yeah, and he still. No, she definitely did do that, and there's like no way he doesn't.
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. I mean, to a certain extent, the Mountain Dogs report directly to her.
There's not much he could do if he did know. Like, even if like he told Keiichi that.
No,
because he can't tell. Yeah, I think he does know, but there's just nothing he can do with that knowledge. Like, who does he tell that to?
I mean, he could tell that to like his bosses, and
it's just fucked up that he's. It's just kind of fucked up that he's still.
His boss wouldn't do anything because they'll be like, "Well, she needed to do this."
Like Takano doesn't just kill these people and make them disappear. Like she takes Rika's mother and like.
And also the Mountain Dogs would just kill.
Yeah, it's just sad. He's still fucked up.
Yeah, like she takes Rika's mother and like live surgeries her. I don't think there's any way you could cover that up. Like, and like Irie must have known about that. Like, fucking hell, Irie. Like, you know, do you have any?
Yeah, the adults in Higurashi are the adults in Higurashi are very kind of.
Anyway, sorry, this is like a side tangent, but yeah,
like,
but like the point I was going to make was like. Tomitake has to lie a little bit to be like, oh, these are all disconnected murders, and like they have nothing in common.
Murders, and he's thinking about them in his head, and he's like, well,
you know, yeah, and like, you know, the fourth one, the police reckon is just a copycat murderer. You know, like a lot of this is just explainable with, you know, perfectly reasonable explanation.
Yeah.
And there probably won't be another one this time.
But you don't tell someone the fucking ghost story. Wait until they get scared and then be like, it's probably.
I mean, you could if you weren't like seriously considering the possibility that he was like one bad day away from becoming the Joker.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, the fucking Joker. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tomodachi is just kind of dumb.
Yeah, he's a bonehead. He's a fucking bonehead. I don't know why he still likes Takano by the end of it, after personally knowing everything that she's done.
Don't we move on to the cotton drifting scene where everyone's just at the cotton drift festival, or is there a conversation with Rina after this?
After that, yeah, they catch up.
Aren't we done?
They catch up again, and
oh no, they
do catch up one more time because Tomitake was the loser of the shooting gallery competition, and his penalty is they all write on his shirt, which is probably the nicest penalty I've ever seen from this club. But
to be fair, he's an outside club member. You shouldn't punish someone who's not an insider.
All right, Tomitake, get the bell collar on.
Sorry, Tomitake, you had to go take a bath in nuclear waste.
You have to go slap the principal's head while wearing a maid outfit.
So yeah, they all draw on his shirt, and it's just wholesome stuff like "come back next year." You know, hope you had fun, which is like very wholesome, very cute. He has to wear it all the way home, which, like, to be honest, is like, that's fine. I'd be all good wearing a shirt that said, like, you know, come back next year.
It's fun. It's cute.
Just said like encouragements on it and like their names, right?
I believe so. It's just like, yeah, you can do it. You're gonna become the best photographer.
And then they all head home, and like that's pretty much the end. Oh, it turns out that Keiichi's mum and dad didn't go to Watanagashi. I don't remember if that ever comes up, where he gets really worried that his parents are going to get murdered because they didn't go to Watanagashi.
I don't actually think it does.
No, I don't think it's a requirement for the villain.
I don't think it comes up. No, I don't think it does.
That's a good point. I feel like that never comes up.
It might come up anyway. It happens.
Maybe it does, and it's just I just forgot. But I
mean, his parents coming up in terms of Watanagashi, I know comes up in like Minagoroshi a tiny bit. But like
most of the time the killings happen, his parents are like, you
gotta go to Tokyo.
We have to go to we have to go to
right.
Your father has to go to a porn convention.
Yeah.
We're leaving.
He has to go to fucking
because he I haven't been able to. I don't remember who told me, but one of you guys told me that there's like this theory that Keiichi's dad is a porn artist, and I've never been able to unthink that.
I think it was either Yensid or Sayane that said that.
I mean, yeah, it's the fact that he's like he's this like supposedly like pretty well off artist because he can buy this big house in Hinamizawa, so he's obviously like somewhat popular. Combine that with the fact that like he doesn't let Keiichi see any of his work. I think that's the like
It's just like it's just like he's gotta that's a story for another day. I can talk about a whole episode of that guy. How sus he is.
I mean, his father's integral to kind of. I mean, I've been working on a project of like rewriting Go, and I like one of the plot points actually does involve Keiichi's fathers.
Oh.
That's fun. That sounds fun.
So anyway, like that's the end of the episode, and we get four tips. And so they're basically like three of them are information about the murders that occurred that weren't the dismemberment incident. So there's the Hojo family falling incident, which I think is the first time, like the name of that tip is the first time we get the fact that it was the Hojo family, which at this point we know is Satoko's last name.
Because I think Tomitake said it was like his parents, right?
Yeah, so like it's all there if you put it together. Like oh shit, it's like it's
come on.
And it like they don't give you that much. They just kind of go like, oh, you know, on the afternoon at 2 p.m, person X and his wife X fell 27 meters from the observation platform.
I mean, you don't. It's probably this one and like them and like Takano just killing Rika's parents.
Yeah.
Shown. But I will say, I did read one of the extra arcs. I read the alternate ending for the PS2 version. I think it defines that incident very well, and because it divides it in a way that makes Satoko's character actually genuinely really great and cool, and like kind of really unfortunate. Like, I mean, have you guys read that chapter? Because like I can
I haven't.
Say how it just so I'll keep it to myself for now.
Sorry, I've only read the main arcs.
Nope,
but it does it really well.
Yeah, but we pretty and for like for the Furude family one, it's pretty much just like like the Shinto priest died of like an existing condition that suddenly worsened, and like they thought it was stress. And then his wife just vanished and left a farewell note saying, "Oh, Oyushiro-sama will forgive me." sort of thing, or forgive us if I die, something like that. Which we know to be complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Probably while this newspaper was being written, she
Rika's
was
mom wouldn't leave.
she was alive, being having her brains cut open by a maniac. The fate of Rika's mother.
No, she was just killed. No, I don't. No, both of them were just killed. I don't think any.
Yeah.
I don't think they were experimented on. Were they?
No, she definitely was that. And there was no reason for it. There was no reason for Takano to just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna But no, she definitely keeps Rika's mother alive long enough to just do fatal experiments on.
Cut their brain open. Yeah.
It actually goes into quite a bit of detail in chapter 8. What's it called? Matsuri Bayashi, is that it?
Yeah, Matsuri Bayashi.
Yeah, it actually goes in quite a lot of detail into how she's fully awake and I think of all the fates of all the characters in Higurashi, I think Rika's mum's fate is the most terrifying because she basically she's I don't think I want my child to be involved in medical experiments, thanks. And Rika's no, I think it's a good idea because I kind of want to. She's this is you're cutting open a 6-year-old's brain. No, I'm not comfortable with this. And then she gets kidnapped by the same lady she's really suspicious of. And this lady's just straight up yeah, I can't have you interfering with my medical experiments on your 6-year-old. I'm just gonna I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna kill you in a way that's kind of horrifying, and very scary because the idea of being surgeried while you're still awake is really scary to it's scary to me. It's probably scary to most people. And she's
yeah, it's really fucking ugh. It's
Yeah, it's
really
awful.
no, it's definitely one of the more upsetting.
She straight up tells Rika's mum oh, I'm doing this so that I can continue to perform medical experiments on your child. It's just yeah. When I think about that, I'm wow. Fuck Takano, yeah.
Yeah, fuck Takano. Yeah, Toмотake saw all that and he was still I still like
it. And Irie too. The two of them must know.
Dude is fucking crazy.
I don't know. I mean, it's there's probably a way you could say that she did this all in secret, but I feel even if she did it in secret, wouldn't either of them be asking questions hey, how come Rika's parents mysteriously disappeared? Do you know anything about this, Takano?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, your coworkers would need to know at a certain point. It's just
I mean, Takano herself wouldn't be. It was Irie that would have been done the experiments because Irie has the medical.
No,
no, it was Takano.
But Takano has zero medical experience. She's just a fucking person that ironically believes her grandparent or grandpa's stupid experiment.
No, she went to med school. She researched medicine. She's not a nurse in real life. That's her cover. She actually is a doctor.
Oh, okay. Oh, she is it she works medicine under using Phoenix University or something?
No, I think it's one of the
Phoenix.
Again, it's Matsuri Bayashi, and I think she gets really good grades. It's one of those things where it's you could do whatever you want. Why are you researching brain parasites? That she's no, this is what I've got to prove my grandfather's theory.
Okay.
Yeah, Takano's motivation is really fucking weird.
Grandpa didn't die for
Yeah.
Grandpa. Gotta prove his. Yeah, no, Takano does that all of that on her, mostly her own, as far as I can remember. Keeping a woman alive and just cutting her brain open while she is still. She is a quite a curious person for doing that.
Yeah, it's she probably, I don't know. I'm guessing she probably did that just to get off on it, but I guess there's possibly reasons why you would want to keep, actually for brain surgery especially.
Yeah.
Even though it's
yeah, brain surgery. I mean, if the most generous take I can give is that you have the brain of the person you have the brain of the mother of the person you are directly studying to prove your theory in front of you. You could maybe learn, and you have a live specimen without anything really in the way to stop you. Physically, not morally or ethically anyways, but physically able to stop you, and this could potentially in some way help you do your research. So it's not saying she should have at all, but it's could argue that maybe there's something to be gained, something to be learned by doing extremely unethical medicine that way. And again, not to say it's good, but maybe she learned something.
She probably did. And, like, probably keeping her awake probably let her do things like, electrocute her and, like, watch the brainwave patterns and see if the parasite reacts and stuff. Which is like...
Yeah, other things. How the brain reacts, which is especially in...
It's horrifying, yeah.
It's super fucked up. It's, like, super, super fucked up. It's horrifying, but it's also, like, yeah.
I think it is the most horrifying thing in this VM, is the way Rika's family dies. Well, I guess, like, her mum. I think her dad just gets shot, or whatever. Like, her dad just gets, like, poisoned.
I think he just gets... He just gets shot. Yeah, I believe he
probably poisoned actually, because I think the police would notice if there was a bullet. But I think he gets poisoned by the mountain dogs. Yeah.
No, maybe that is it. Maybe he gets poisoned by the mountain dogs.
Yeah, and then fingernail torture is the close second, I think, to that.
Fingernail torture is pretty bad. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the first two. The third one, which is very interesting, is that the housewife murder, it just says it wasn't reported in the newspaper, which, like, is very interesting. I can't remember why that is.
I guess because the person confessed, or not. You know what I mean. There's the whole the person who confessed, but not really, and then they died. So there's not anything to really. And then also it was kind of a cover-up.
Was it suppressed by the
it's
like the area clinic corporation or like organization? Like, did they cover it up?
No.
I might be entirely wrong, but I could have sworn I remember that like they specifically paid this person who was on death row, or like gave them some sort of benefit. They were on death row, but they were like, hey, pretty much here's a good cover person. Now we're gonna go. Right. Now we're just gonna kill them. And we're never going to talk about this again, type of thing. Just as like a cover up. Here is a culprit. Do not ask any questions. He is now dead. Yeah. All right, good day.
I mean, there's also the possibility that Sonozaki's covered it up as well. I'm just trying to think why it wasn't reported in the newspaper, because like even if you get
oh yeah, that's true. It was the Hojo. It was the whole, like, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's possible.
Yeah, because Sonozaki's are an element in, like, covering...
I really don't remember who actually what went on there.
I mean, I might have to do more research into actually what happened with each incident and, like, go over it. Because I know what happens in the Hojo incident, but that's more of a spoiler with the alternate ending that's technically canon. I don't know if it really is, but since there's no alternate explanation for it, I'll count it as canon.
Wasn't the Hojo thing that Satoko pushed all of them off a cliff?
Yeah, it was.
Yes. Satoko. But the part I'm talking about is a spoiler. Is why Satoko pushed them off a cliff.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Alright, fair enough.
It was Go Satoko all along. That was the twist.
And then...
I like every time I mention Go, you go.
Go. It's just like... every time I have to think about Go, I'm just like... yes, go, Higurashi, go. Well, those were the 3 tips, and I think that was the summary. I know we talked a lot while it was happening. Oh, wait, you have one more?
There is one more tip, sorry. Yes. So the last tip is just the radio log. And, like, it doesn't give us a whole lot of information, but it does I think it does a pretty good job of, like, of pretty much, like, letting you know something happened. Like, because it's all them going, like, backups requested, like, requesting no lights, radio silence. The doctor has arrived. They want you to carry it away. Shouldn't we let them take a photo first? Like all of this shit that makes you go like, okay, there's been a murder. Like that's pretty much what you get from it. It doesn't give you a whole lot of information, but it does.
Doesn't this chapter end with that whole monologue sequence with like the Rika, like where it just goes Onidamashi, or like leads into like a screen of text and then it says Onidamashi. Like signifies this is the turning point, or is that the beginning of the next chapter?
Oh, I think that was before this. There's a thing before this chapter.
Like, because I remember it happens at the Cotton Drifting Festival.
Oh, yes, so sorry, yeah, right after the cotton drifting, so before Keiichi goes to catch up with Tomitake and Takano, there is a wall of text, so it goes like, at first I was a bit anxious. Hurting someone was something I had never even considered. Nevertheless, the anxiety then gave place to loneliness, doubt, and more, and then that wicked murderous intent eventually took control of my mind. The boy took the first step towards an unrecoverable daily life, not even realizing that he was walking into the abyss. Onikakushi. And then, a tragedy born from the desire to believe. Are those tears of repentance or tears of resentment? And then that's, yeah, and then it carries on.
Also, I believe that part is also the choice for the console, if you're playing the console version, to either go to Onidamashi or Tatari, or not Tatari, whatever the other one, the spinning chapter.
Okay.
Tawar Tamo, I can't remember the name of it, but it's one of the console arcs that literally just begun with you looking at Shia, where like it'll just put a character there that you have not formally been introduced to yet. Because Shion is just there.
It's the point where you can make a choice.
You just look to your right and just Shion is like, oh, hi, Shion. That's why Shion not even being introduced.
Nope. So you'd just be really confused.
Oh, and it's also not a good chapter if you accidentally go that direction.
Wow.
For your first time through.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not.
Tarai Mawashi, that's what it is.
Well, this is the turning point in the story. Like you said, I think that, like, that speech, that, like, little speech that is given is a really good way to sum it up, is that you walking into the abyss without even really knowing it. Everything is, like, good and fine and happy, but, also, there is a lot at play very clearly in the background, and soon enough, Keishi's gonna have to realize it, gonna realize what's going on, and I don't know, I guess I don't have a whole lot to say about this segment specifically, but I did always like the build-up to, like, everything happening, and I liked the Cotton Festival, and it's just, like, it's very good at setting the mood for just making everything, like, normal and happy and content, even with some hints of, like, hey, things are kind of, fucked. And then it really just pulls the rug out from under you, but that's not now, that's later. So for now, we're still living in the content world of ignorance until,
if you pick the Tarai Mawashi route, it will be more ignorance. Just, but like,
we'll just be confused.
The second half of the Onikakushi is probably is really good. I think the first half is hit or miss. There's some stuff that like I think you can just skip through.
It's pretty
I think
hit
it's
or
one of
miss,
the hardest things to get people. Especially when you tell people, it's like, hey, you should read Higurashi, and you're like, oh, you can read chapter 1, it's free on Steam, and they're like, is this what the game is? Is this what it is? And just like, people...
And they're just like, I don't want to read this anymore, man. It's a really hard sell.
But, like, once you get to that point, like, it's like, I think, because, like, this second half does what I think Higurashi does really well at, and just building suspense. That this first half is really just a great way of just introducing to the characters, getting you used to how these characters function and act towards each other, and then using that to create the suspense that is in the second half.
It establishes a very good, like, sort of base for those characters that it can take that away from you later.
You're going to be like Keiichi, where, like, well, do you trust these characters or do you not trust these characters? In the second half, and I think that what Higurashi does really well at is just making you go, oh, I don't know what's happening anymore. And I think the visual novel does the second half way better than the anime did. I think the anime does better with the first half, mostly because it just speeds right through it, but the anime kind of poorly does the second half, because kind of speeds through it again.
Yeah, the first half is really necessary, so that, like, I think if you jump straight into the second half, you wouldn't have attachments to all these characters, and like you'd probably go into horror movie mode where you're like, oh, like, you're being stalked by like a strange lady with a hatchet. Why don't you just go and buy a gun? Like, but the way that they set this up, where you like, actually care about the strange lady with a hatchet, you're like, no, don't buy a gun. Like, I think something's wrong. Like, don't shoot Renner.
Yeah, like we don't want to accidentally because you never seen like those horror movies where like sometimes there's a horror movies like where like, oh, I'm really scared, and they shoot someone with a gun and they just shoot their friend. That's essentially what here is. We're like, well, are we actually going to shoot somebody here?
Yeah.
With a gun.
Yeah, Keiichi doesn't get a gun because it's Japan, but like, you know, he does get something else, and it ends just as badly. And like, you're kind of like, you feel like you're like screaming into your television set, you know, or your computer screen the whole time, because you've had that first half where you're like, no, this is not Renner, like, this is not right. This is not me on.
You know, this is a little bit like kind of off topic. The main thing that got me going back to Higurashi to read more is like, how the fuck can there be more after that? Everyone died. What the fuck are they gonna do to continue it? Because, you know, not knowing and then being like, oh, huh.
Yeah, I think
strange.
Well, Higurashi, because one thing, because like let's talk about something also like topic, but like one thing I always wanted to do is like I wanted to create a series called like Solving Higurashi, where I try dissect Higurashi chapter by chapter to try to solve it, like as if I'm going through it the first time. But like the hardest thing, the answer is, why is there a time loop? Because there's not a lot of evidence pointing to why the time loop exists, and that's the hardest part. Because like from episode 1, from chapter 1 to chapter 2, there is barely evidence of. I mean, you can tell that time is looping just because these characters are alive again, but we don't know how the time loop works. What is the cause of the time loops? Who specifically...
Actually, I would argue that you don't even really know it's a time loop. As far as you can tell, it's just like, oh, this is just like
just a different
Higurashi again at first. That's just what it seems like. And then it starts to drastically differentiate itself, and you're just like, what even
Umineko
is
does a better
this
job at explaining
what is
looping,
happening in that, like...
Because even technically, Umineko is not really looping. It's just...
I think Umineko...
They're fragments. It specifically stated it's fragments. I mean, Higurashi is still fragments, but it's...
Umineko does... Umineko, I think it is... Yeah. I don't know if I would really argue it does a better job, but it does a very different thing. Like, it's still good. It's still very good. But Higurashi is like... I mean, you only really know it... When do you actually even really learn it's looping, right? 6. For the first time
technically
ever. Chapter,
6,
like...
4 or 6, really?
Probably. No, 4, because that's 4. When you hear about, like, Rika has her time travel powers and all that. That's like sort of the end to the... I think Higurashi is very good on, even if it is not the greatest piece of media at times. No offense to Higurashi and Higurashi fans. It's just, sometimes it's a little bit bad. It is very good about just selling you on this... I really genuinely don't know what's going on here, what's happening here. I want to know more, and it teaches you a little bit more at a time. Just a little bit more to give you hints as to what could be happening, without just outright telling you it's a loop. You know, it's got very good, it's got immaculate vibes, especially for horror. There's like some...
Higurashi, like, the vibes of Higurashi are, like, the best. Higurashi Onikakushi, I think, has the best vibes of any...
it's really good.
It's like from here on out, the vibes are like the meat hook scene from Ciconia, just all the way through. It's like, I don't know how it does it, but you're that gripped for the entire rest of the chapter, and that's what it does really well. I definitely think the time loop and Hanyu and even Hinamizawa syndrome, those 3 things being the combination of explaining everything is a really bad thing relative to what the series has established to be a baseline with like Umineko and Ciconia. Well, Ciconia, I don't know what the solution is, but definitely compared to Umineko, like you're never gonna guess Hanyu. Like, there's no clues to Hanyu. She does the footprints thing, the steps behind, but you could even explain that with Hinamizawa syndrome. So it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of a nothing. The time loop thing is just like, it's just magic. It's probably like, you know, And then, like, even Hinamizawa syndrome is kind of an arsehole from, like, Umineko standards. Like, it's more of, like, the unknown disease X type of feel.
Yeah, unknown disease X.
But on the other hand, like, you'll definitely come out of this arc, Onikakushi being like, yeah, something's wrong. Like, Keiichi's hallucinating.
Yeah,
like,
just the vibe that something is not right.
Like, you probably won't be like, wow, I'm so glad that our... I'm so glad that our hero defeated the evil spirits inhabiting, you know, like the guys of his friends.
Something was wrong. There is a way. We either do not have all the pieces, which or there is like very much like someone is.
Yeah.
The story is not playing out the way it is being told, which is interesting. Is kind of the vibe you get, is like there's little inconsistencies in characterization and just things that are happening.
I will always say this about Higurashi, even Umineko. I always, because they're both mystery horror novels. They're like mystery horror novels. I always say Higurashi is more horror than it is a mystery, and Umineko is more of a mystery than it is a horror. And Ciconia's somewhere.
Absolutely.
So Ciconia is somewhere in the middle within that.
Yeah, Ciconia is something. Yeah.
Where, like, Umineko is like, you're more entranced with the mystery. A lot of the mysteries can be explained, even if you have to kind of twist and rip it around. But it's explainable. That is within the logic of its own thing. Where, like, Higurashi is like, it's explainable, but like a lot of it can just be written off by just saying Hinamizawa syndrome or Hanyu or looping, but like but its horror elements are really good in showing really suspenseful action and really great, and even having really great character arcs within this horror thing, and understanding anxiety and paranoia that it really understands in a lot of the youth, because Onikakushi does this really well. I even say like Tatari and Tatari and Watanagashi have a really good job doing it, and even like my favorite arc, Sumio Roboshi, has an amazing time working with some horror elements with really great character moments that genuinely feel, oh, this is great.
Yeah, and I guess to tie that back into this, like a lot of this arc, and a lot of the reason we're not talking about it that much is because it's just kind of it gets good after chapter 100 type of thing, you know? Yes, kind of, it's the part where you're like, oh, the maid dress, the maid bells, the sexualization of children, the blah blah blah, the worst parts of the story. Like, there's some good setup in there, but it's really hard to just. Higurashi is very good when it's good and very bad when it's bad.
I will always say that. We're like, Umineko is Ryukishi's masterpiece. We're like, Ryukishi is like, oh, he tries to find his style in Higurashi. He finds his like place, and like, honestly, like
I think
I'm
so.
I'm curious at what he does with Silent Hill F, because he's like, if he can do horror, I don't know how he'll do well with this.
He can do horror very well.
Yeah.
He can clearly do horror very well. So I think him and Silent Hill, if we're just on that topic, would go very well together.
Yeah, it's interesting what you said, Horsecam, about like Umineko. It's definitely more mystery than horror, but you can definitely see in like EP1 and like probably about EP3 is when like it kind of like shifts a little bit to be less horror. But like there's definitely like it feels like it's pushing the horror angle a lot more in early Umineko, and then it just seems to like the way the loops work in that, it just seems to get comfortable with the idea that like, yeah, like this is just us exploring the game. Like it starts to feel like a game, you know, that Beatrice and Battler are playing, and they start to like become detached, but also like Beatrice starts to realize like there's no point to me like brutally murdering your family over and over. Like, I want you to solve the mystery. Like, so it shifts.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of plays just into the themes of Umineko, how like, oh, it becomes more of a game as they continue, as they realize it kind of plays into themes, which is more Umineko. So talk about at a different time.
Yeah. I mean, we are 2 hours 40 minutes in. I don't know how much of that will get cut out.
If you made it this far, you deserve a treat. So go buy yourself a cookie or make yourself a cookie. If you have cookies, go eat some cookies.
We're not gonna give it to you. But yeah, I guess the summary of what I would just say, like how I feel about it is just very good setup, build up. Very, very good. There's a lot, at the sort of climax where you can't really, it's tilting between going one way and another, and it's very much going to go one way. So,
I'm really curious.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, it's good.
Like, I kind of can't wait to reread more of it, because I'm excited to reread Onigakashi. Because I've reread this first half multiple times and trying to get stuff done with the first half, because I remember I reread the first half when Go started releasing, and I was like, oh, I don't need this anymore, I guess, so I'll just leave it, because Go went in a completely different direction, and then I wanted to do it for a different thing, and I started reading it for this, so...
Yeah, no, I'm excited to read the horror aspects of it. Yeah.
So guess what? I finally get to read the second half again.
Well, I feel like Onikakashi works very well as just like here is like a somewhat short horror story, and then solo thing. So there's nothing wrong with that either. And there's a lot of pretty different and interesting. Have either of you seen the Higurashi movie all the way through, the live action one?
No.
The live action Higurashi movie, without getting into it too much, ends with, because there is never going to be like covering all the arcs, it ends with explaining sort of what is happening. Like, there's just a post scene after Keiichi's death where they're in his house and they are just like, yeah, he must have had level 5. It's really odd. It's really odd.
Yeah, because they only did one sequel, and it was just adapting Miyakashi. No, I think it was adapting Sumiguraboshi. Sorry. I think. It's one of those.
I think so. I never saw that one. It's a really weird way to, like, sort of try to tie Higurashi into just one single thing. One single loop where you sort of see the perspective, you get the answers. It's interesting. I don't know. If you want more Higurashi media that's actually good, that movie's pretty solid.
The fuck landlord shirt.
Then it's almost Halloween. He has the fuck landlord shirt. What else can you get but that, huh?
Wait, really? Like, here's a shirt that says fuck landlords.
Yeah, it's like fuck landlords, fuck like social media, or not social media. It says like fuck
social media. Fuck. He has like a bunch of things that he hates on that shirt.
Like, I can't remember.
Go watch that movie. That's your Halloween recommendation. Go, unless this movie comes out after Halloween. That's your Christmas recommendation. Go watch that movie. It's kind of amusing, and it's a way to re-experience Onigakashi again. Yeah. Well, I think that's all I wanted to say. Do any of you want to wrap it up? Are we good?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
It's almost 3 hours.
Yeah, this will be a 3-hour episode.
Hopefully not.
I told Des that we recorded for 6 hours, and then
he's not gonna believe that. He's not gonna believe that. He'll check and be like, "Fuck yeah, I believe you." It to be like more. We still did record for 3 hours though. That's kind of wild.
Yeah. Not quite, but yeah. Thank you everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed our Higurashi Book Club number 4. I was Horsefry.
I'm Horsecam. Don't follow me.
And I'm Kirby. Follow Horsecam.
Listen to Wholesome Crew. Maybe we'll have an episode out soonish. Yeah.
Hey, see ya.
Bye.